Hey, folks, it's another episode of your favorite show, the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. That is, I Have a Need to Know, Adam.
Yeah, what's up, everyone?
And I am trying to Topher. A little behind the scenes. I just woke up about 15 minutes ago, and I'm trying to Topher. I'm
You're
I'm
trying.
Tophering, I'm Tophering a little bit right now.
Are you in character?
Yes, now I'm in character. I'm getting there.
Do you feel like we are playing characters on this show? I don't. I kind of feel like I'm playing myself. I don't know. Maybe on and off.
I don't either. Truthfully, like one of the first episodes my mom listened to, she goes, "You swear too much," and so I try and swear less on the show. In my personal life, I swear a lot, and so I try and swear less on the show. But I don't feel like I'm playing a character.
Yeah. Right.
There are times where I do censor myself, from saying things because I feel like it's a little too raunchy for the show.
Yeah, I mean, I would discourage that, but it's all up to you, really. I mean, but I self censor too. There's many shows where I'm like, oh, actually, never mind, because it
Yeah.
can get. Yeah, so I get it. I get it. I guess we have to these days.
And the other thing I'm trying to do less of, and another criticism from my mom is she says you go off on weird tangents. And
Weird?
Well, not
Okay.
just like especially like you're in the middle of you're talking about whatever video we just watched, and I'll pick up on one thing and I'll just go like, oh man, I got to talk about this because I have something that's slightly relevant, and I'll go off on this weird, and then we'll go. You and I both do this where we start
Yeah.
talking about some random thing that's only like partially related to the video that we just watched, and we'll talk about it for about 10 minutes, and it's just like, well, so I'm trying to do less of that.
Well, slightly relevant, I think, is better than not relevant. So, but
Absolutely.
yeah. Some people might say like, wait, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Well, we're not doing a deep dive today, but there is a lot to get to,
There is.
especially with things in the sky, historical studies about objects in space, and then of course that object in space we discussed last week. But now there's like more people covering it. The one that's coming towards us. Yeah.
What I've been calling it in my head is Uma XL because it's way bigger.
Yeah, what is it? 20 kilometers or something? 7 miles?
Yeah, if Uma was a probe, this thing is the mothership.
Oh, well, I guess I'm my mind's open to it. I mean, I just don't like the figures who are doing it. We'll play also.
That's
Yeah.
that's a very common problem. Well, is that the right phrase?
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't kill the messenger, huh?
No, well, but I do the same thing where
Yeah.
we always rip on Corbell, and overall I'd say he's a net positive, even though I don't like the guy. But
sure.
But it's the same thing where I go, I like the stuff that's coming out, but I don't like the people delivering the message.
Right. Yeah.
So it's and I feel like it's a common theme in the UFO world. There's also Stephen Greer. I don't like that guy.
Yeah, true. But he does say some truths, and he's done good for the movement as well.
Yep. Net,
right.
Yeah, same thing. Net positive, but I don't like the guy. I don't like how important he thinks he is.
Right.
but here we are.
Right, yeah, and same for Avi Loeb. So there's many people in the scientific community that can't stand the guy. For me, it's because he's a Unit A200 graduate, which to me just means he's a foreign intelligence agent. But I guess to be fair, we have to listen to his arguments, see if it's scientific and if it makes sense, and keep an open mind that way.
This is why we need to become prominent figures in the UFO field. So, because get on that, make us prominent figures.
Okay, I'll work on that.
So people know that they can listen to us and trust us because they know that we don't have an agenda. We're not coming in, promoting our next book or whatever. We're here to just tell people the truth and what we know.
Yeah, it's funny when we first started. I remember seeing tweets that people trying to figure out what we're about or what the deal was, and I remember sharing a Y-Files clip. The show was about reverse speech and how you can tell if someone's lying, and that people in politics even use it to know if someone's lying. And he had a clip in there about Bob Lazar, and it had Bob Lazar saying stuff in reverse that like basically he's a liar. So I took that clip and put it on X on the podcast account, and I'm sure we talked about this on the show when it happened, but we were just attacked. People are just saying, "Oh, now we know why you guys, what your agenda is, and why you guys have a podcast." I was like, "What?" So I just deleted that. But yeah, maybe people do try to figure out what is the agenda, but what is the purpose behind these guys. Well, for us, we're not making money off of this at
No,
all.
no, no,
We
no.
don't
Far
work for
from it. We are
any
losing
intel
money
agents.
off on this.
Right, exactly. We're in the hole, and we don't work for any intel agents. Our job, we have day jobs, and there's normal day jobs, hustling, making ends meet, and we do this on the weekend. Because we
And
enjoyed the subject and we'd like to talk about it.
I'm gonna put this out to our listeners. If you can find our agenda, go ahead and send that to us. Specifically me, I don't know what my agenda is. I'm trying to figure that out. So if you can find my agenda, just go ahead and send that to me so I can figure out what I'm supposed to be pushing.
Well, I guess our agenda or my agenda will be disclosure, but not government disclosure, right? Like real unfettered disclosure.
Yeah.
And even if that destroys our institutions, such as like religious institutions and stuff like that, basically the old power structures are being protected by the National Security Act. That is national security, right? These old power structures of old families, and they haven't really created a nice world. You know what? If they created a utopia, do you think anyone would give a shit that there's a deep state? I don't think so.
No, exactly. No, you are dead right. Yeah.
I mean, if they just came out with these technologies or whatever and still hid them, but we can use them and utilize them
right
to grow the economy or something,
If I don't have to pay for gas, if I don't have to work, if food is free,
right.
All right, Illuminati, like do your thing. Like I don't care what you do. Go. I mean, I guess I don't want them to rape little kids, but if that's what it takes, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Of course.
I'd rather live in this terrible world than live in a utopia where the rich can still rape little kids with immunity.
Right, exactly. I mean, impunity. So I mean, I would say that would be our agenda, is to just dismantle this secret, which is at the core of what humanity is dealing with. That's what it is, no matter what.
Yeah, I think we're like libertarian on the precipice of anarchism.
Yeah. Very close, on the edge of it.
Like tear it all down, baby. Like
if we have to,
if you're not harming me, if you're not taking away my rights, then do what you want to do. But man, these elite assholes in charge,
right?
They got to go down, buddy.
Yeah, and they're doubling down. They're tripling down. They're just more entrenched, and they're not giving up, dude. It's insane to watch.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on the elite pedophile ring and everything that's going on right now with Trump and the Epstein files, but I think we're going to avoid that. Everyone else is talking about it. I mean, we're not avoiding it because we're like scared to talk about it. It's just like everyone knows what's going on right now. It's it's a huge farce.
Agreed. So I did a video to one of your songs.
Yes, you did. You did you created a music video, and I was so impressed. I was at work, and I think I was working late when I finally watched it, and I was like, "Stop everything! I got to like." I was amazed. This is so great.
All right, nice. Well, I don't think it's finished, but this is the initial one. There might be another version or a couple versions, but yeah, I like the way it turned out too. It's not perfect.
No, it's great, man. I love it.
But the song was, when I just listened to the song, it's just industrial and eerie, and it's very fitting to the theme of like the subject,
Yeah.
I mean? All right, cool. Yeah, so let's take a listen. It's about 2 minutes long, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
In a land of glitches, there's a podcast to find. Voices from shadows deep and unrefined. Anomalies whisper through the connection so thin. Secrets unmasking where the truth has been.
Tuning to frequencies from a dimension that hides ancient mysteries where reality collides. Alien code echoing in the cold starred sky. We unravel the questions that make reason fly. Uncovering the secrets that they want concealed. Broadcasting the whispers that were once sealed. In the loops of space we hunt what's concealed. Through the static truth will be revealed. Anomalies narrating tales of interstellar rain. Binary prophecies that drive us insane. Reading waves of madness with a calm refrain. Decoding the signals like it's encoded pain. Neon lights flicker on our digital quest. The tantalizing unknown, keeping us obsessed. Amidst the chaos and the echoes we invest. In every anomaly our souls manifest. Uncovering the secrets that they once concealed. Broadcasting the whispers that were once sealed. In the loops of space we hunt what's concealed. Through the static truth will be revealed.
It's great, man. It's so good.
All right, nice. Yeah,
You've got
that well.
you've got the Matrix in there. You've got a light.
Gotta like. I knew you'd love that one.
Yeah, that man. Yeah, I cracked up when I saw that. So good.
Yeah, and it starts out with that from the nuclear bomb in Twin Peaks as well.
Yeah. Oh man. Twin Peaks. Great show. If you want to watch a TV show where you've got more questions than answers by the end of it, watch Twin Peaks. I mean, it's beautifully shot. It's a little bit melodramatic. It's a product of its time, but man, what a great show! Especially the return. The return was so good.
Yeah, and I love that they did the return because it was it's a different era and just show the technology of creating shows got better. So that's what's such a much better show.
I remember texting you as I was watching the return and just being like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like especially when he's like wandering around like the giant teapot thing. I don't know. If that's spoiler. I'm just like, what is this? Like,
and the arm and just like the whole electricity thing, how they travel through electricity.
And and even in the original show, I always loved what's called the Red Room. What's the
there's the Black Lodge. Oh yeah,
the Black Lodge.
The Black Lodge, yeah.
I always loved all the Black Lodge stuff because it's just so out there.
Yeah, you're like, what? Like someone speaking, a midget speaking backwards.
And like it's dancing. So cool because when you learn about the show, the actors were learning their lines backwards and they were speaking it backwards. And then they filmed the thing backwards so the words came out forwards. It is the product of God rest his soul. Lynch. He's now passed, but man, that guy had a mind on him.
Yeah, he did, and he was obsessed with meditation. Transcendental meditation is what he was obsessed with, and this series brings so much into it because it doesn't let you know. But I mean, should we say, or should we say what it's really about, like what the nuke is? And
I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it.
Yeah, but it brings a lot of occult issues into the UFO subject, right? Which is probably very close to the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I was, really, really inspired, by that show.
Me too. Yeah, as well. And that's what really inspired me to make the video, putting those in right places. Pretty much everything's in that video. Right, all the big space videos.
Actually, I think the first thing after you sent it to me, the first thing I texted you is like the Men in Black footage is in the exact right spot with the lyrics.
Yeah, and I found a clip that we didn't use on the show, but there was another CCTV camera, which is that second Men in Black. He was by himself. It was in Alaska or something.
Oh,
yeah, that was that second one. So I did play the revolving door, but then there was another one that was filmed.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been 15 minutes of us just bullshitting. Let's dive into everything that's happened this past week.
Yeah, so Beatrice, she's a doctor. She's been on podcasts before. We've played her interviews, and she identified using plates, astronomical plates. She identified anomalies in the sky above Washington D.C. when the 1952 flap happened. Right, so she's that doctor. But now she's submitting a new paper, and this shows hundreds of thousands of objects in the 40s and 50s, like in a grid-like manner above space. And she submitted it. So she goes, happy to share a new preprint by Steve Bruell and me. We investigate whether pre-Sputnik transients statistically correlate with atomic bomb tests and historical UFO sightings. The answer, yes to both.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked at length on the show about how UFOs are attracted to nuclear energy, and it just seems,
Right.
you know, with everything that's coming out, I mean, there's just more and more proof that it's not just a theory, like it's the truth. They love or hate or for whatever reason are interested in nuclear energy.
Yes, they are, and even before, because if she's, oh no, we were doing nukes by 49. So Dr. Villarroel, I don't know how to say her last name. Yeah, team analyzed the first Palomar sky survey, 1949 to 1958, a massive photographic record of the sky taken years before humanity's first satellite launch. So, you know, either this is like our own. I mean, if it's not aliens, it's like what, Nazis, or you know,
man, yeah. There's
who the hell was up there?
There's no good answer to that. I don't know. I mean, hope to God it's not Nazis.
The results are jaw-dropping. 298,165 short-lived flashes of light detected across the plates. Many were aligned and simultaneous, behaving like sunlight reflecting off metallic surfaces. Located 40,000 to 80,000 kilometers above Earth in high orbit, decades before we could put anything there. In the 1950s, humanity didn't even have rockets capable of reaching low Earth orbit. Yet the data suggests hundreds of thousands of objects forming a coordinated grid. Something or someone was already up there. To prove these weren't camera errors or natural events, the team used a simple test. When the flashes were inside the Earth's shadow, that's umbra, they disappeared. When in sunlight, they reappeared. That means only one thing. These are physical, sunlit objects in orbit.
Oh, wow.
And then came the number that was smoking gun evidence. 22 sigma and 3 sigma equals intriguing. 5 sigma discovery level. 22 isn't just proof. It's a statistical, written by ChatGPT, obviously. It's a statistical knockout punch. It's the kind of number you get when the data is screaming that something real is there. The odds of being random is about 1 in 10 to the power of 70. So that's 70 zeros, right?
Yep. Oh, man.
Wow. Yeah, so it's not a coincidence. So a hidden network above us. It's not 1 or 2 objects. It's hundreds of thousands. That is just bizarre.
I mean, you know, and this is, in my mind, this is what Foo Fighters are, right?
Yeah.
They have this grid above us, and every once in a while they'll swoop down and
they swoop down.
They'll figure out, what are those pesky humans doing again? You know,
I mean, when I just look at like how this planet is managed, you know, and just the psychopaths in charge. I mean, maybe those souls seriously are trapped down here, and there is a grid to keep them just down here.
Yeah,
I don't know. What else would you do with these type of people? You know what I mean?
Maybe Scientology isn't that far off from the truth.
Oh yeah, it does say something like that, or that this guy trapped aliens inside humans or something, right?
Yeah, my only knowledge of Scientology comes from the South Park episode where they talk.
That's supposed to be very accurate. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Fun fact. I don't know how many of our listeners watch South Park, but if you watch that episode, all of the credits will say John Smith and Jane Smith because they were afraid of getting sued. And so in the credits, they changed everyone's name to John Smith and Jane Smith.
Genius. I mean, yeah.
But should I dive into
Yeah, quickly. I mean, if it's I feel like it's relevant if we say we're locked down here.
Yeah. Okay. So an evil alien overlord was capturing other aliens, and he was dropping them in the volcanoes of Hawaii, if I remember correctly. And when the souls were disappearing, he was capturing the souls in like a giant vacuum thing, and
Oh
the
my
souls
God.
escaped or something, and they attached themselves to ancient humans, and that's where we get our emotions from. That is a very inaccurate,
Condensed. Yeah.
condensed version of what Scientology is.
Right. And Scientologists then try to get rid of those other beings inside of them through
Yes.
these sessions, right, that they do.
I think the sessions are to see if how many thetans, how many alien
Yeah. I think
you
it's
have in
Thetans.
your bodies, and then
Yeah.
the rest of Scientology is getting rid of them. It's a bizarre religion. I don't even know
Yeah.
why I brought this up. I apologize.
Well, because it started at the grid, that there's a grid on top of us, and this is before even the nuclear age. And then I said,
Yeah.
well, how else would you want to take care of the psychopaths we have, to just imprison them?
Yeah.
And I guess we're the prisoners.
We are. I mean, we are. That has nothing to do with Scientology. But if you just look at human history and you look at what's going on right now, you and I, the regular people of the world, we are prisoners of what the elite want to do. I mean, hell,
Right? Yeah.
yeah. Never mind. I was going to bring
They're doubling. I mean, yeah, they're doubling down and tripling down, and the financial system is gonna be a scary one. Anyway, well, let's continue.
Yeah.
Another coincides with the 1954 European. Oh, we talked about the 1952 Washington one, but another coincides with the 1954 European wave, a massive spike in sightings across France and Italy. This data can be seen as evidence that this orbital network was active during major UAP events. The story takes an even darker turn at Harvard University. Between 1953 and 1968, there's a mysterious 15-year hole, in Harvard's vast astronomical plate collection known as the Menzel Gap, after director Dr. Donald H. Menzel. What a fucker.
Yeah, that's probably if something gets named after you, it's either something really good or something really bad. This is something really bad.
Yes, it is. And Menzel, back in the day, he was a huge debunker of UFOs, and apparently he was in the program, but that came out later.
Yeah.
Stanton Friedman find out. So in 1953, just as these anomalies were being recorded at Palomar, Menzel abruptly halted Harvard's plate program. He ordered the destruction of hundreds of thousands of plates without examining them. These plates would have covered the exact years Villarroel's study identifies as critical. Thanks, Menzel. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see,
these people are parasites, man. I mean, they're everywhere. They get into these institutions and just ruin everything.
Yeah, they're probably put into these institutions by the oligarchs or other people in charge and say, get rid of this kind of thing. We need to be in charge forever. We are the gods of this place.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, the truth isn't relevant. The truth is what we decide it is.
Right. Keep them ignorant.
Yeah.
Keep them just working for us or whatever until they're replaced by AI and androids. So yeah, that paper is right here for those that want to delve deeper into it.
And as always, and I know I say this every show, but I'm going to say it again. Everything that we talk about during the episode will be in the show notes. So if you are interested in what we're talking about and you want to dive a little bit deeper, go ahead and go in the show notes and click through this and take a look yourself.
Exactly, and this is for free. You can download it yourself and go through all of her statistics that she's using, the database as well. But that's crazy. Over 100,000 transients identified.
Just wild.
So many. Yeah, I mean, those are orbs, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think they're flying saucers.
Yeah, I don't like. Excuse me, man. Like I said earlier, I think, and now I'm yawning. I think these are probably like Foo Fighters or something very similar.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the association with nuclear weapons testing. Obviously, that is a transient was 45% more likely to be observed on dates within a nuclear test window compared to outside of nuclear test windows.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think I know you've mentioned on the show before, like what is with nuclear energy that they're so either concerned or interested in? Like, what do you think that's about?
I mean, if you know, if there is these two realms, you know, which is the material and then the spiritual, you know, let's just say spiritual realm. I don't know how else to put it. I think nukes are just tears a hole between the two somehow. Or it does disrupt this reality, how it's set up. You know, if everything is connected, which science is proving more and more it is, and consciousness is at the base of this, and then you have people who are just exploding atoms, you know, or not in fusion, or not fusion bombs. They're fission, right? They're fission bombs.
Yeah. No. I think
fusion. Hydrogen bombs are fusion, maybe.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Fusion.
I mean, yeah. So you're using the power of the atom, and but that uses the power of the universe or this structure. So it must be doing something worse than just here on the material realm, I would think. So I think that's why they're interested. It doesn't just affect us here; it affects something else. Maybe they're grids. Maybe they're because we'll see here actually that they, and many people have said this. There's another guy in New Zealand who said this as well. This guy is an Irish astronomer. His name is Eamon Ansbro. And decades ago, he identified this structure and this grid, saying that they follow these patterns and these ley lines, or geometric lines, magnetic lines, you know, stuff like that. And that's what that Cathay guy said also in New Zealand. So, and that Cathay guy used that knowledge to figure out where people would test and explode nukes, because he said it's connected to that as well. So there's some connection there with this grid, how everything is set up, and then nukes disrupting that.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
well, more terrifying than cool, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're talking about another grid. Forget the grid that the elite are trying to impose on us. There's like another grid that's been imposed on the planet, you know, if not on reality, I guess.
So something crossed our mind as you were speaking. You talk about splitting the atom and just atoms in general. People don't know that atoms are like, what is it, like 90% empty space?
Yes.
Like even an oxygen atom, like what we breathe, just empty, like the air around us, 95%
it's all
of it,
empty space.
It's all empty space. And so some sort of thought occurred to me where it's just like, what's in that empty space? And maybe that's this other
energy. Yeah.
You know, this just capital O, other. That's where the other is.
And what if atoms are their own solar systems? We're just exploding. Yeah. We're just exploding solar systems.
Yeah. Now we can really dive into what I believe. Yeah, like the universe is you know, is a living, breathing thing. But if you kept zooming out and you kept zooming out and you kept zooming out, it'd just be a bigger part of another.
Yeah. Over and over until infinity.
Yeah, it's a fractal. It just keeps you zoom out, you get the same thing. You zoom out again, you get the same thing. But it just, I mean, it just goes on forever in both directions.
And that's a good point about the empty space. I remember reading that it's like having a marble in the middle of a stadium.
Yeah,
and the nucleus is right there, right, and then the electrons are at the end of the stadium. That's how much space it is.
It's always been hard for me to comprehend that, because you touch something, you're touching the atoms of it, right? But it's not, you can't push your hand through it, even though it's mostly empty space. Such a bizarre concept.
Because it's like magnets. Yes, they're actually repulsing. Like the table and your hand are repulsing each other, and it feels like we're touching, but we're not really.
Yeah, so weird, man.
It is, because if you touch the table and then take a microscope, like an electron microscope, and then zoom in, you'll see that you're not actually touching the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're touching. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. We could. I feel like we need to be passing a joint around and talking about this.
I know, right?
Whoa, man! It's like empty space, bro.
Oh man,
we're just touching electrons, man.
That reminds me of Terrence McKenna, because he sounded like that too when he's talking about DMT and ayahuasca. He was great though. All right, so let's listen to this guy. What he has to say. He predicted this a few decades ago.
well, it was 30 years ago, I think. Back in the mid-90s, we discovered that through patterns and cycles of UFOs that we could demonstrate a new model to show that there was a controlled autonomous surveillance of the Earth. So what we discovered was that they're actually using 660 orbital tracks around the Earth. These are not artificial satellite tracks. These orbital tracks are totally programmed to be in synchronization with the rotation of the Earth. It was all theoretical at the time, based on originally 30,000 reports worldwide we got from the US, France, and the UK. And then we whittled it down to about 1,300 reliable reports. These would be multiply witnessed or people that had taken recordings at the time.
Give us a description of what was recorded here.
Okay, well, this was in 97. 5 of us were here.
So just before this, I mean, so he himself, see, he predicted all those ley lines, and he said it's thousands in geosynchronous orbit with the Earth. So another grid there, you know. Could this be the like a human group doing this?
If it is a human group, it's someone with a
We're
lot
screwed.
of influence from. Well, yes, we are screwed. But it's someone with a huge amount of influence from
Yes,
whatever entity is out there.
yeah. I mean, if you are, say, the elite, and you realize that this realm is owned and controlled and whatever, it kind of gives you an excuse to do it. You know, you're like, well, they're doing it to us, so why can't we do it to everyone else?
Right.
That might be their thinking.
But my question, well, yes, yeah, I agree. But if they do have outside help, what are the? I'm going to just say the word aliens. What are the aliens getting in return? I mean, maybe that's a human concept where if you give something, you know, you get something in return. Maybe for aliens, that's not a thing.
But maybe to keep it secret, because then if everyone knows, then it hurts the actual structure. You know, if everyone's aware of it, so
right.
that could be what's in return. That keep it secret. Because I don't know, if everyone knew that there is a grid, you know, in space, always monitoring us by some form of intelligence, would chaos happen?
We're diving right back into it again. We talk about this. I feel like we talk about this every week. I mean, what would change in your daily life? Like, I still have to go to work tomorrow. Like, tomorrow's
Right.
Monday. I still have to, like, if Trump came out and said, I was going to do a Trump impression, and then I realized I can't. If he came out and said, guys, there's a group of aliens above us. They're watching us. They know everything you're doing. They're kind of like Santa Claus, except they don't ever give you anything good. I would be like, man, that's crazy. But I still have to wake up and, you know, 16 hours and go to work.
Yeah. I mean, would the masses demand that the system becomes dismantled because it's, you know?
No.
Right.
80. I say it. I feel like I've said it the last every episode now. 80-10-10. You know, as long as 80% of people are just going on with their day to day, what possible change could there be?
Yeah, and what can you do? What can you do about it, really?
Yeah, seriously. That's what it comes down to. It's like, what? Okay, there's a grid of aliens watching me. What can I can't do anything. I still have to have a roof over my head. I still have to put food on the table in front of me. Like, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about this.
But maybe it's bad for the people in charge, because then, you know, if the system is not how it's been, how it's portrayed to be set up, you know, as we have it today, people might say, well, you know, those institutions don't matter anymore. So maybe that's what the threat is also.
Yeah.
We're never getting disclosure, dude.
No, I know. Like I said last week, what do you think's coming first, Epstein or the alien files? And government is proving time and time again that none of it's coming forward. None of it's coming out.
Right. Yeah. That's right. We have some things for Ghislaine as well. All right. So here he's talking about some.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to see what he's talking about here.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Be an event occurring. Based on our theory, one of us got a recording of this construct.
Whoa.
Just beyond the castle here. There have been many cases here in Lockheed.
It's a glowing dildo.
Yeah.
But I felt that was one of the best ones. One of the co-founders of ICER, which is the International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Research, made up of 13 countries, because we want to get it through to government officials. It's not only real, we're dealing with not a phenomenon anymore, not a big joke for the last 75 years. We're dealing with an intelligence that's been here before, I suspect, before we were even here on this planet.
Yep. Yeah. We've had guests on the show also that talk about this, is that we have been, I guess they call it, domesticated, and our genes have been messed with for some reason.
We're monkeys in a zoo at this point.
Yeah, and I forget the scientific name for it, but you know how like monkey babies look exactly like humans because they look like kids. Their kids look very similar to humans, and then when they grow older, they get the protruding, forehead and like and chin. So it's like and animals, when you domesticate them, they also become childlike, correct? Even in adult age. So they're saying something similar where humans have been domesticated for some reason by someone.
I read a really interesting article the other day. I wish I could remember it, but everything about humans is how do I explain this? So let me give you the example that was given in the article, and this is really gross, but hang on there with me, folks. So when if you're like a little kid, a toddler, and you poop someplace, and you pick up your poop and start writing on the walls with your poop, your parents come and scold you and tell you how gross and disgusting and smelly that is. But as a kid, you don't know that. So the whole disgusting, smelly part of it, that's taught to you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, there's been a couple of cases where kids are, for whatever reason, they get lost in the woods or whatever, and they're raised by wolves, and they learn to be part of the wolf pack. I'm maybe that's a myth, but I could have sworn there's actually confirmed cases of that.
Yeah. I remember there's a handful, I think.
They learn, they learn how to be dogs because they're taught that.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't inherently know what's right or wrong or gross, or you don't even know, like, going back to I'm sorry to bring this up, the shit metaphor or story. You don't know something smells bad until somebody tells you it smells bad. You don't know something is full of germs and gross until you are taught that it's gross. And so
I wonder. I mean, you think that goes into like even adulthood, like even if you haven't been taught it stinks and you smell it. I guess there's some cultures that really stink and I don't think they smell it.
Right.
So no, you're right. Yeah.
But that's my point. Talk about like brainwashing or being led down a path. I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about here. As humans, we don't know things are one way or the other until we're taught that.
Yeah, and that's why the government loves to get kids into school and indoctrinate them, and people do it, but families do it as well. Everyone does it to their own ends. But you are correct.
And this is getting to my larger point. Why am I so scared of spiders? Someone along the line taught me that spiders suck. They got too many legs.
Do you think it's the legs thing? I think it's the eyes thing. Too many eyes.
But here's the thing: you can't see the eyes unless you get really close.
Oh,
I think it's the legs thing,
or just how I don't know. It's their presence as well. Their presence is always because they're watching.
If you see a spider, you go, "Oh, something's wrong."
Do you see the screen okay? Because for me, it's just black.
No, I do. I'm seeing a tweet from Black Hole at Constructivism with a K. The James Webb Telescope just spotted a massive structure in space just outside the rings of Saturn. And if this is an accurate photo, this thing is truly massive.
What the hell? I mean, I know this is a big account, but I'm not sure if it does fake news. I mean, yeah, this thing is huge.
Yeah, I
These
mean
are the rings of Saturn here. That's like bigger than one of its moons.
yeah, I mean that. Yeah, if this is man, I don't. Did you send this to me? I don't remember seeing this.
I think
You must have, and I just was busy at work and I didn't look
Yeah.
at it. Yeah, because this would be absolutely huge. I mean, this is like the size of I can't even come up with a comparison.
What is going? All right, no one says anything. Oh wait,
No, of course not. This is social media. Twitter has become, or I'm sorry, X has just become just like Reddit, where everything is a joke post or a meme.
Well, I wonder if that's bots or it's actual people. So that does coincide with what Avi Loeb has been saying.
Fantastic.
And we did play a clip of him last time, but here he's on News Nation, saying why he thinks this object is an alien object.
Fantastic.
Let's see if we agree with him.
Yep.
Or if he's just, has another agenda.
About the speed, the trajectory, the behavior leads you to consider this as a possibility?
Well, first, it's relatively bright for its distance, implying that if it's a solid object, it has to be 20 kilometers in diameter. That's twice as big as the giant asteroid that killed the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. And the previous objects we saw from interstellar space were only hundreds of meters in size. So there is just not enough rocky material in interstellar space to provide us with a 20-kilometer rock that appears once per decade. But more importantly, the trajectory is very unusual. It's aligned with the orbit of the Earth around the sun. And the chance of that happening is 1 in 500. And then the timing of its arrival is very fine-tuned because it comes very close to Jupiter, to Mars, and to Venus. And the chance of that happening is 1 in 20,000. And moreover, it's moving in the opposite direction to the motion of the Earth around the sun. And when it will come closest to the sun, the Earth would be on the opposite side. So we won't be able to observe it. That's the point in time when it can do a maneuver with the aid of the sun's gravity. And that will happen on October 29th. And I already heard from a fan that he is trading options against the volatility of the markets, the stock market, with an expiration date because of the October 29th, because if it's alien tech, that would change the future in a quite dramatic way. It will have a huge...
I mean, so many questions. So, I mean, if I have this correct, I believe you've proposed using a Richter scale before to assess such objects. A 0 means this is totally of natural origin. 10 means this is clearly engineered. Based on what we know about this object and what you're observing, what number would you give it now?
We don't have enough data. It depends how much weight you give to the unusual orbit. The trajectory is extremely rare and fine-tuned. And depending on that, how much you assign to that, you will give it a rank that is somewhere in the middle. It's difficult to assess at this time, but we will get, the good news is we'll get much more better data in the coming months. And the fun of doing science is that you can ask questions at first and then answer them with data. And we don't need to have an opinion, especially in a blind date like this one. All bets are off. This visitor came from interstellar space, and it's possible that it targeted the inner solar system for a technological reason.
From what you're describing, this sounds like one of the worst blind dates potentially I've ever heard of.
Hilarious. I mean, he sounds believable. His arguments sound good, but
Yeah.
I'm not an astronomer, or
Yeah,
a scientist.
And I think therein lies the problem is we're not astronomers. The news media is not. They're not astronomers.
Right.
But we were told like Uma was a one in a lifetime thing, and the fact that
Right.
it's happening again,
Yeah, good
is
point.
pretty wild. I I just want to ask you really quick. Let's say, like this is one of the things I keep seeing online is they're talking about it's going around the sun and it's going to be on the other side of the sun from Earth.
Exactly.
So you can see what it's doing.
We can't see it.
Let's say once it comes around, let's say it goes around the sun and it comes back the opposite side, like not like it turned like it did a 180 and came around and head towards Earth.
And does a gotcha.
Yeah, like how would your life change if if we were told as a people that this thing was coming to Earth?
I mean, it depends what it is. If it turns out to be like an antichrist kind of thing, right, and it's here to rule over us, then yeah, I'd freak the hell out. If it's just this thing passing by, taking images like we do with the orbiter and right and stuff like that, it's just gathering intelligence. Oh, cool. Nice proof of an extraterrestrial civilization that likes to explore. All right, maybe the authorities can try to communicate with them or see where it's going back to or something. But that's about it.
I just had I guess it's like an idea for a skit. Like, what if it flies by Earth and we see a bunch of flashes and it's essentially a bus with tourists that are taking pictures of Earth?
That would be funny. I could see someone making that too. Hey man, you could do that with AI these days.
Yeah, bro. And on your right, you will see this is the planet Earth, full of monkeys who have evolved.
Who are ruled by pedophile psychopaths. It's hilarious.
And you will see they have nuclear power, but they do not use it to power anything. They use it to kill each other.
Yes, to blow each other up. Oh, so true. But this is what the scientific community is saying.
Scientific community rejects alien theory. Experts in the field have largely dismissed the alien probe hypothesis, maintaining that all current observations point to ATLIS being a typical interstellar comet. Astronomers have noted the presence of a visible coma, a cloud of gas and dust emitted by comets, which aligns with expected behavior of such objects.
All right.
Chris Lintot, an astronomer at the University of Oxford, and Dr. Samantha Lawler of the University of Virginia were highly critical of Loeb's theory. Through an email sent to Live Science, Lintot call it, in quotes, nonsense on stilts. Lawler, on the other hand, said that nonsense on stilts is pretty good.
Yeah.
Lawler, on the other hand, in quotes, said that the vast majority of scientists subscribe to the idea that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I hate that quote.
I know.
And the evidence presented is absolutely not extraordinary. Other astronomers have pointed out that the object has exhibited no sign of propulsion, targeted trajectory changes, or radio emissions that would indicate artificial origin.
I mean, it doesn't have to have radio emissions. It seems like we're like the only ones who still use radio.
Yeah, I was going to say radio. That's a human thing. I mean, what if they communicate that way?
Especially if it's interstellar too. Radio is not going to work.
Radio's. I mean, it's fast for us, but technically it's slow.
Right, exactly. I mean, now we're thinking about quantum communications, which is instantaneous over even if you're in a different galaxy.
Yeah, I still remember that story about the Chinese satellite they were doing quantum. They were sending packets between a satellite and Earth, and it was instantaneous. I mean, that's super
cool, man. Yeah. Yes, it was in orbit, right? Yeah, you said that.
Yes. Yeah. For those who don't know, I mean, Adam said it just a second ago, but it is instantaneous because technically, I don't even know quantum mechanics. I'm not going to even pretend to understand a fraction of it, but essentially two particles are in the same place, but they're in a different place. They can interact with each other, and so you can potentially send data through. You can give it to one particle, but the other particle gets it at the same time. It's a whole thing, man.
Yeah, it's basically two photons are created at the same time. When they're created at the same time, they have the exact same spin. And for some reason, because they're created at the same time, when one spin changes, the other one spin changes immediately, regardless of distance. So that's where the communication happens. So they on Earth, you change the spin of the photon down here. Up in space, it changes also immediately. So that's how you can encode messages like an on-off thing by changing spins. You know what I mean? With zeros and ones.
Sure.
Kind of, yeah. So
again, way over my head.
That's the.
I don't think anyone truly. I think I've read that quote some places. No one truly understands quantum mechanics.
Yeah, right. It's still theory, obviously, and but a lot of it has been proven with math and now in the lab, which is cool to see, right?
We're using it, but we don't understand it. From what I.
Yeah, I think like electricity, kind of like we use electricity, but I don't think we understand what it is and where it actually comes from. And you know, people of the electric universe theory say it's everywhere, and the universe is electric, and plasma science, and but modern physics doesn't talk about it that way. We can control electricity, and generate electricity, but we don't know exactly what it is, right?
Sweet.
Yeah. So this is an old clip. I think it's good to bring up because he's kind of saying what's going on with Avi Loeb right now and warning us about something that's coming, right?
Hell yeah.
And this is what James Corbell said. Jeremy, sorry. Jeremy.
Our good friend that we never make fun of, Jeremy Corbell.
Judo chop.
But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sent you 2 texts today with a year. Not from me. Nope. I'm not going to propagate that lie.
But
you are. Not going to be part of it. Not going to say it to the camera. Everybody knows. Just start paying attention. And they'll change the date, especially if they see this. Things will change. Because maybe I'm trustworthy. Maybe I'm worthy of your trust. Maybe I've told you the truth the whole way through it. Now you can verify it. If that's the case, then I'm fucking dangerous. You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated. It's been pretty clear. And it's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth. Ultimately, they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth. But why they want you to know that truth now? Hope I'm wrong. But it's not.
Once again, Corbell puts himself in this position where he's the star of the show.
Yeah.
And you can tell, I mean, I can tell. I watch, I'm a big fan of movies and stuff, but he's acting right now.
Yeah.
And he's doing a pretty decent job, but once again, he put himself in a position. He's the star.
He's looking down. You know, they zoom in. But yeah, he is the star of this. And he warned us, right? That they're going to tell us a lie.
And this is the thing that I dislike about the UFO community, where he's going, okay, we all know the date. The date is 2027. We were told the date. We've been told the date over and over and over again. He goes, and if it doesn't happen in 2027, it's because they moved it because of me, because of what I'm saying.
Yeah, he did say that. Nice catch.
Come on, man.
Yeah, because of me. And that means I'm dangerous. So basically, if I'm wrong, it's because I'm dangerous.
Yeah. But this is something that's been happening with the UFO community for a long time. I remember a post on Reddit a few years back. They were saying 2025. They were saying
2025. Yeah,
2024. This is when the aliens are arriving. 2024. Of course, that didn't happen. Or if it did, we weren't told about it.
right.
And now it's 2027. And
well, 2026, right? I think we have a clip there as well because of Chris Bledsoe.
2026, yeah. I mean, here, I'll just go ahead and I'll predict something. 2025, December 2025. If it doesn't happen, it's because I told you all the truth.
Right. Exactly. I already told you the truth, and it's been thwarted.
And guess what? I'm right either way. Because if aliens do arrive December 2025, I was right. If they don't, it's because I was right and they moved the date. I mean, it's stupid. This is, there's a lot of people in the UFO community like this, and I don't like. That's the part of the UFO community I don't like.
Yeah, and here's from Red Panda Koala. He has a compilation: 2027 Alien Invasion Apocalypse. Statements from Lou Elizondo, Chris Bledsoe, Leslie Keane, Jeremy Corbell, John Ramirez, Ian Carroll, Diana Pasulka. I think we even have.
I will believe that UFOs are arriving when all of the world leaders go to their properties in New Zealand, because that always seems to be the place where they buy property. Then I'll be like, oh crap, stuff's actually happening. But I am firmly in the camp of nothing ever happens.
Well, I mean, Zuckerberg is creating a huge bunker, right? He's even buying up more land.
They all are.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they did this during COVID, and remember they all started resigning too right before COVID. So yeah, if they start resigning, you're right, then something's happening. But until then, it looks like we're okay.
Yeah. It's the same thing where they, world leaders talk about, rising ocean levels, and then they buy ocean property. They buy property on the beach, and you go, well, something's not passing the smell test there.
Exactly. No, good point. And here's even Russell Crowe saying 2027.
Well, currently, I'm reading a lot of stuff that says, full contact in 2027. And there's all these people that used to work for NASA or all these other organizations out there talking about how our history as a species is really simply a series of genetic experiments to get us to where we are now. When you look around, there's a lot of proof that says that might actually be a thing. Anyway, that's what I'm
How is Russell Crowe involved
about these days?
What?
How is Russell Crowe involved in this?
I think it's his fans asking him. It looks like it's a Q&A, you know what I mean? When some celebrities do this. So maybe they asked him, like, what are you thinking about these days? And he just said that.
All right.
Celebrities. Yeah.
I like Russell Crowe as an actor, but he is a drunk who gets in fights everywhere around the world. So no, I like Russell Crowe. I got a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah. He's a good actor. He just seems like a good guy. He's got a big heart. What was his issue? What happened? There was a falling out with Hollywood. What was that about?
Oh, who knows? He probably criticized Israel or something.
Probably, yeah. And he's Australian.
Australian.
We love the Australians. I love the accent.
I truly do. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Australia. I have when I was 17, and I loved it there. And
I haven't. I've known lots of Australians. I've had a roommate that was an Australian. Neighbors even that were Australian, and always a good time.
Super friendly and super cool.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be, because if you live in Australia, you're dealing with like the craziest creatures on planet Earth.
Yeah,
like they've got spiders that are like 8 feet tall. I mean, I'm exaggerating, obviously. I'm terrified of spiders. If you guys haven't picked up on that yet, but man,
there's crazy stories out of there and videos I've seen of these spiders in houses. Like, what the? If I saw that, man, I don't know what I'd do.
I'd burn the whole house down.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I'll get the shotgun out and just start shooting it.
Really quick. Can I tell an Australia story?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is completely off topic, and once again, Mom, I'm sorry for going off a tangent here. there's this thing. I don't even know if they still do it. I'm pretty sure they do. The Catholic Church does World Youth Day, where the youth of the world all come together in a certain country, and they have mass with the Pope. This was 2000. Oh, I don't even remember. I was a junior in high school, so that would have been 2008, 2007.
Okay.
Anyway, it was in Sydney that year, and we went to a couple different cities in Australia. I think we were in Cairns at the time, and some of the people in our group were 18. The drinking age was 18. I don't know.
18. Yeah.
Maybe it probably still is. And I was 17, so I couldn't go into the bars, and I was walking around looking for my friends, and I had no shoes on, and I'm walking up to this bar, and I just go like, yeah, I can just go in and look for my friends. And the bouncer stops me, and he goes, "Hey, you can't come in here." And I go, "Oh man, sorry, like I'm almost 18. Like, can I please come in?" He goes, "No, you have no shoes on."
I'm almost.
He goes, "Go put on some shoes, and you can come back in." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm surprised they didn't have the no shoes, no service, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Oh man,
like we have here.
That was such a fun trip. I loved Australia. What a great time.
I'd
All right.
love to go.
Sorry for going off on that tangent.
Can you see the screen? Because I can't that well.
Yes,
so
I can. Yeah, I'm looking at a YouTube video. You haven't
Perfect.
pressed play yet, and it's just a black screen. But I'm assuming once you press play, it'll pop up.
This is a long video, so you guys can go and watch the whole thing. We're just gonna play a little clip here, and it's basically the title is Avi Loeb is a fraud now, and he just destroys him for 45 minutes. But there's some there's some things that I think people need to know, especially about Avi's like Medium posts and what he's about really, and it's bizarre. So we might have to fast forward, but let's get it started.
In order to affix in the general public an unsubstantiated, whimsical idea that they will latch onto for emotional reasons. Then when anyone who actually knows what the fuck they're talking about comes along and rains on Avi's parade with real facts and data, he can just whine about victimization and ivory towers and how academia, which he is a part of, is so closed-minded, only further endearing him to those who are hostile towards any semblance of expertise or intellectual authority. Why can't academia be more like the totally clueless general public? Why can't they ignore all the things they know so they can more readily swallow his lies at face value because they're fun and exciting? It's beyond transparent. Again, experts who work in this area are excited to find bits of interstellar objects. They simply are committed to doing their work properly. There is no evidence that an interstellar object has struck the Earth at all. And when someone like Avi pretends there is, by ignoring real data and pulling stories out of his ass, experts are going to push back. The experts are in it for the science. Avi is in it for the book sales. End of story. Avi is no longer a scientist. He's just a charlatan. It makes you wonder if he actively decided to become a charlatan at this stage in his career, or if his entire career was only a preamble to some pre-planned charlatanry as a way of manufacturing credibility. Either way, with this furial stunt, Avi has done more than just irritate the shit out of academics with his false claims and incessant disparaging of the scientific community. Officials in Papua New Guinea say that he did not have the necessary permits to remove material from their territory. A senior official in the immigration department said that Avi broke the law and can be charged criminally. Cutting corners might sell books, but it also might get you in trouble. No news yet as to whether he will actually have to face any consequences for his actions. With all of this context now understood, we can circle back to that Scientific American article and see how pathetic he sounds in this interview. Here he's asked about the part in his book where he claims he doesn't want limelight and doesn't engage in self-promotion. He just wants to share his message to a broader audience. Sure, that must be it. A real man of integrity. Then he whines about scientists being motivated by ego, that they build echo chambers with students who repeat their mantras. Science shouldn't be about image. Jesus Christ, what a disingenuous fraud. You only learn by getting feedback from experiments, like the mountains of experiments that experts cite in refuting Avi's bullshit, which he repeatedly ignores. That's the problem. People are no longer guided by evidence. You took the words right out of my mouth, Avi. The problem is that grifting frauds like you are not motivated by evidence. You're motivated by profits. You lie to the public, disparage the scientific community, and accuse them of being everything that you are, an ego-driven, clout-chasing, money-hungry fraud. Josh.
Ouch. Okay, now I think this is important because I didn't know he wrote. Yeah, I don't know. He wrote articles like this, so he goes into the Gaza thing.
Well, he's never mind. Go
Well,
ahead.
no, but yeah, because he brings his. Well, yeah, we know.
Calling for a genocide of Jews should be considered harassment, yes or no? And she said it depends on the context. Obviously, a lot of students feel unsafe, and classes are disrupted by demonstrators all the time right now at Harvard University. You need to educate people. What does it mean to educate people? It means that to tell them when they are wrong, not to allow them to say things that are harmful.
Yes, Avi is pushing lies and propaganda about babies being killed, ignoring all Israeli atrocities before and after that day, which dwarfed the events of October 7th by several orders of magnitude, and then whines about anti-Semitism at Harvard and groups calling for the genocide of Jews, which is really just people protesting Israel's genocide of Palestinians and Harvard's direct financial support of it. Avi is so triggered by people protesting Israel's terrorism that he had to take a retreat from Harvard in the Holy Land, as he wrote in Medium. I guess he needed a front row seat for the slaughtering of tens of thousands of prisoner children in order to recharge his battery. On the way there, someone was kicking his seat a lot, and he told them to keep in mind that he's a person. If only people could remember this fact in such devastating conflicts. Remember that people are people, says Avi, as Israel began its never-ending campaign of murdering children, obliterating 75% of the infrastructure in Gaza, bombing hundreds of thousands into oblivion while starving the rest to death, bombing every other country in the Middle East at the same time, all while pretending to be defending itself. While he was there, a tiny little toy rocket damaged a mailbox in Tel Aviv, probably in between Gaza hospital bombings. So he's no stranger to danger, you guys. You want more? Take a look at another Medium piece this nutjob wrote, Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Jews. There's probably no anti-Semitism in space, you guys. That's why space is so awesome, because aliens won't hate Jews. Jews have always been persecuted at all times through all of history, or at least that's a made-up thing we say all the time, and aliens can bring Jews to the promised land, which is on another planet. Earth will be swallowed up by the sun in its red giant phase, so the alien Mashiach has to come save the Jews and bring us to the promised land from the Torah. Then Jews can have synagogues on other planets and keep existing for trillions of years, free from all the stupid anti-Semitism everywhere on this stupid planet. Future space Jews, you guys. We're the chosen people, after all. We're better than everyone else, so we have to make sure we go to space, and everyone else can come be our subordinates if they want, or they can just rot on this crappy Jew-hating planet. Fucking hell, what an asshole. Anyway, for everyone...
Fucking perfect, dude.
Yeah.
I could have said it better myself. Dr. Dave, you're awesome.
I don't think you and I are allowed to comment on what we just watched. I got a lot of thoughts, and I'm not allowed to share them. Otherwise, the show will get canceled and we'll get black bagged by the CIA or the FBI.
But see, this is like the narrative where they're trying to go. They still want to show that they're chosen. This is the thing, because that's what real disclosure
okay,
would ruin.
So you are going to go into it.
I have to. The audience has to know. You know, like, true disclosure would end this. It would, because there's obviously other beings that are way more powerful, way more chosen. In that fact, and it just destroys their chosenness.
Well, okay.
Do you think Avi's doing this? Do you think Avi is saying that this thing is coming in and they're going to stage a whole Moshiach has come to Earth to save the Jews thing? I wouldn't put it past them, dude. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. All right, let me just say this. There is a certain type of people that perpetuate the myth that they are victims.
Yes.
In this country, the United States, there was a lot of, especially during this last election for the presidency, there's a lot of talk about reparations and yada, yada, yada. I see a very similar case happening with a certain country in the Middle East, where they look at something that happened a very long time ago and they go, well, because this happened, we are still victims, and we can't do anything wrong because of this thing that happened many years ago.
Yeah, the eternal victim.
and the chosen thing ties right into that, where the victims, everything sucks for us, everything's so bad, and because of that happen, we're the chosen people, and the aliens are going to come and rescue us, and it all ties into the same kind of thing. And honestly, it just makes me sick. And finally, I think the pendulum is starting to go the other direction, where people are going, why are we helping these people commit genocide? Why are we providing 90% of their defense budget? Why are my taxes paying to give these people free health care and free education when I can't afford to feed myself? I think people are finally starting to understand how screwed up the situation is.
I mean, a lot of people will tell you the Bible, and that's and that's really the problem too. Is that, well, a certain perspective of it, which is still a huge movement in the United States. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not. I always thought she was a Christian Zionist, but she's not. She's just a Christian.
Yeah, she broke from the Republican. That was kind of major news in politics. She broke from the Republican view of things and went against. I'm not even going to say the country. She said, "Why are we doing this? What is this for? Let's not."
She also called them nuclear armed, which people in the government are not allowed. Which they are, but the people in the government are not allowed to say, because then it goes against our laws. We are not allowed to send weapons and money to nuclear armed states, or especially that haven't signed the non-proliferation agreement, which they haven't.
Nope. And they're like one of the only countries to do so. By the way, I mean, they get away. Okay,
everything.
Again, I want to stress this point. We do not dislike, or we don't hate, we don't dislike, we don't have anything against Jewish people. We dislike a certain government that is in the Middle East,
a secular foreign government
that has a lot of influence in the United States.
Right, and it's
too much.
Armed. Yeah, I mean, and so much that everyone's noticing it. Everyone it's not helping. I mean, I don't understand why we can't just be for this country. Do you know what I mean? Like, and just do peace over there. Like, why does it have to be such a hegemony and just and violence and
well, because of the
tyranny?
What's the it's not called the Sanford option. What's the thing called?
Oh, the Samson option.
Samson option. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that, honestly, I truly think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and there's I think more proof that people are trying to push this biblical narrative to the UAP UFO subject, and it's natural. I did that a long time ago because it was a point of reference. When you're trying to figure out what this is, into what people in the past have written about and experiences, and so but then you realize that also was hijacked. The narrative was hijacked.
Yes.
Phenomenon was hijacked for control and power. And, history also shows that all religions have done that. They just want to centralize control and centralize power. And it's like a centralized consciousness, because, you're not allowed to ask these questions. Here are all the answers in this book. Don't go beyond that. And then, Western civilization is built to go beyond that. That's what we have secular governments. We respect our religious history, but then the Western civilization became what it is today because it went beyond that and started asking questions about the universe and reality and testing. And for some reason, we're back here again.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Because it is propping up and helping a certain group. That's why. At some point, I guess, becoming advanced was stopped, and maybe because they thought, well, if this is the truth, then we can't have our messianic era that we were promised and prophesized. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, it does link to it. Unfortunately, we do have to keep bringing it up because it has hijacked this empire, which has never happened in history. I don't think where a foreign entity is controlling an empire.
Yeah. No, right there with you.
So here's from UAP James. U.S. Air Force Undersecretary Matthew Lamier All right, so he's with the government, discusses accounts of UAP penetrating solid walls to observe scientific investigation into whether beings exist in the invisible realm and a possible connection to the Bible. If you take a look at the Earth, this is in quotes, or the sun, or any number of things that exist in space using a different lens, not the optical lens, but ultraviolet or infrared, what you'll see is something that looks like a sea creature flapping its wings, swimming through the great deep. Even though in this, what we used to call the vacuum of space, it seems to our optical lens as if it's empty. In fact, it's filled with plasma. He's correct. Plasma is highly conductive, so there's this energy that's instant and direct and immediate between all of the stars that seems to connect all of us. Well, I guess he says exactly that in this video. Maybe I should have just played the video.
Many people who have observed this.
Let's see if he says. I mean, he's right about plasma science, right? And maybe he's right about the Bible. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that our forefathers or ancestors, were trying to understand this phenomenon as well and try to depict it in a very accurate way. The New Testament doesn't have any supremacy in it, right? So I don't have a problem with that. I think that's what he means by the Bible. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, do you want to hear what he says?
yeah. Let's give it a listen.
Okay.
Phenomenon. Describe it as them having a distinct impression that they were being observed or watched by this entity, this ball, and that it seemed to defy the laws of physics as we understand them. It can move against the wind with relative ease. It can go through solid walls and objects without any disturbance. These balls sometimes show up in rooms. They have shown up in commercial airliners or in passenger cars, and they seem to roll or float down the aisle and look at people and observe what they're doing and thinking, and then just dart back through the wall and go on off. And it's something that's reminiscent of, and this is now me getting back to your question about bases on other planets and things. It seems to be reminiscent of what it seems a spirit body, and I'm talking beings, or resurrected body of the Lord, for example, is described as being capable of doing in the New Testament or in the Old Testament. We have an account in the New Testament where a recently resurrected Lord, who's apparently taken up his body or a body, appears in a locked room to show himself to his disciples. Well, that's impossible. It is according to our modern laws of physics, but it's not impossible for a plasma body. It's not impossible for an exceptionally refined matter that we would call spirit, or that we would call immaterial, even if it's not immaterial. And we've got accounts of angels coming into rooms and visiting people. We've tended in the modern materialist secular mode that we've been in for some time to just outright dismiss these things, or they've somehow become taboo. But now even scientists are willing to begin to investigate the possibility that there are actually legitimate scientific explanations for how, in fact, that might be possible for beings to exist, whether we see them or not with the eyes at all times, in the invisible realm. If you take a look at the Earth or the sun or any number of things that exist in space, using a different lens, not the optical lens, but ultraviolet or infrared, what you'll see is something that looks like a sea creature flapping its wings and swimming through the great deep. The Earth is rolling forward on its wings, and there are...
I don't remember seeing any videos that depict that. Do you? In infrared?
No. I was just thinking about that.
I mean, I've always thought like planets are like fifth dimensional beings or something like that, and that's what we just see them as planets. But I've never seen like any videos in infrared or.
I haven't either, but I have heard tell, people, where they see. Actually, I swear this was on the UFO subreddit earlier this week, but essentially it starts off as an orb, and the people who are seeing these orbs, they'll describe the orb essentially like explodes and becomes like a giant angel with wings. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
but I haven't seen any infrared videos of something with wings.
Right, or planets
But
swimming through
even
water.
astronauts have described seeing giant angels out in space.
Yeah. Yes. Giant. Like
Huge,
what did they say?
huge,
Like
huge, huge.
27 meters or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside the shuttles.
Yes. Yeah.
It's smiling at them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That was the thing I read. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's an Air Force colonel. So, U.S. Air Force undersecretary. Never mind. The guy's like high up there.
So maybe he's got access to footage that we don't see.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue.
There are connections of streams of light between the sun and all of the planets in our solar system. And all of the stars are connected by these gossamer threads of light called Birkeland currents. And all of that is plasma. And it's only been in the past couple of decades that we've been able to actually directly observe these things that has gotten even the astronomers scratching their heads and saying, maybe there's more to this cosmos than we've ever before been able to acknowledge. And we ought to start looking into some of these things. And maybe that explains how it is that electricity and magnetism seem to be everywhere in the cosmos, even though in this, what we used to call the vacuum of space, it seems to our optical lens as if it's empty. In fact, it's filled with plasma, and plasma is highly conductive. And so there's this energy that's instant and direct and immediate between all of the stars that seems to connect all of us. It seems to be responsible in part for even our gravity, which until recently, we've chalked up just to density and mass of an object and distance of an object. But you go back to some of the earlier astronomers, to Newton, and then I really like Johannes Kepler and the Copernican age, and they were talking about things that were dismissed in the Age of Enlightenment, whatever that might mean now. They were dismissed as kooky, as being far too religious, far too spiritual, far too occultic for our modern sensibilities. And so we've written them off, especially Kepler. But only recently, his writings have been now translated into English. And you go look at what people like these great minds like Kepler were thinking about. Their whole mentality is absorbed in their Bibles, in occult literature, in astrology, and why I mention all of that is just to say this: they genuinely believed that everything in the cosmos was connected, and it led to stunning revelations that we now just consider materialist, secular, wholly unconnected, disconnected, and that humans are some great accident. Now, I happen to believe that there's plenty of life out there, whether we can see it with our natural, mortal, fallen eyes or not. And in fact, angels do visit men and women on the earth. Beings exist. And in most cases, when they interact with humans on the earth, they don't come in spacecraft. They can just appear. They don't need a spacecraft to get here. It's possible that, in fact, there are others like us that might be reliant on a spaceship to make those journeys. I'm not aware of any viable instance in which we've had an extraterrestrial visitor who breathes like us and who shows up in a spacecraft. I've read some stories. I don't find them very credible. But I do believe in many of the eyewitness accounts of extraterrestrial, angelic, or demonic visitors who have shown up, interacted with men and women, and in fact have had my own experience, unfortunately with the demonic side and not with the heavenly angelic side. But that was in 2003 in December. And so, these things are realities that most humans the world over believe in. And now we've finally got some science that's willing to look into it and abandon.
I mean, he's right about Birkeland currents, and we've seen them across galaxies, right? These with our telescopes and sensors, and scientists don't know what to think about it. They just ignore the whole electric universe thing. These Birkeland currents are electric, and they're like thunderbolts that go across galaxies. Could you imagine? So these connect the sun, they connect all the stars, the planets, everything. So he's right about that. He also
Yeah, I
said like
mean,
he's not convinced of any aliens, right?
right. Just the whole time he was talking, I was thinking about how much crossover, which I find interesting. I don't really know if I have an opinion one way or the other, but what I find interesting is that there's this huge overlap of religion and aliens at this
Yeah.
now, nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there
I
is.
find that fascinating, because I don't know, maybe up until 5-6 years ago, it really was not, sacrilege is a pretty dramatic word, but like you didn't alien life and religion, there was no crossover then, you know what I mean? Like you didn't go to church on Sundays and talk about the
No.
alien experience you had. And now there's so many people that are saying like, oh, the demons, angels, whatever you're seeing, whatever these people are seeing in the Bible, like these were the aliens that we're seeing now. And I'm interested as to how that came about.
Yeah, I mean, in the books the books that came out in the 50s, a lot of them said like, well, if this is true, then religion is under threat, and maybe that's what's happening, where they feel like it's under threat, so they're trying to weave it in and keep it relative, and it maybe it is relative. It still is. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not everything, and that's what this guy again is doing. He's saying everything that everyone is seeing is from a religious perspective, right? And a spiritual realm, because he said he's not convinced of the other stories of the physical breathing humanoids. He just outright says no, because that is the mindset, unfortunately, of people that believe in the Bible, is that it's only humans, angels, demons, obviously God, right? But that's it. There's no room for anyone else.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting mindset to have. It does bring into question anytime a figure in history has had some sort of religious experience where they describe seeing an angel. You have to ask, well, like, is it this same phenomena that's happening today, where people describe seeing angels in space or whatever?
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, even Teal, I think on Rogan, said that if you have this power, this propulsion, and these technologies, then yeah, you're either angelic or demonic. Depends on your intent.
It's a very well, I'll just say this: it's a very human mindset to have.
Yeah, I mean that's either this or that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and every species has its own interests. So who are you to judge, really?
Right.
But then is there right or wrong?
Yeah. Exactly.
And Tucker, I don't know if this is new, but he was on
great still photo.
No. So, and he's out there saying the supernatural is real and that the government is under the control of supernatural beings.
Interesting. Well, we kind of already talked about that.
Right. Exactly. And then that ties into religion too, because then, what is that supernatural entity behind this? Is it then it has to be the Antichrist? If the Antichrist system is being built and we see it being built, either someone is following a script or, that's the plan. Either way, we lose. So, yeah, I don't know if this is an old clip or a new one. It's just about a minute.
The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real. Why has that been so important for 80 years for you to convince me the supernatural is not real? Why do you care if I think the supernatural is real? And then you have to ask a motive. Like, it's not a profit motive. Like, does it make them rich to deny that there's supernatural forces? No. What is that? And I don't know the answer, but the obvious answer is, well, because they sort of know they're working for supernatural forces, actually. But that they take physical form, that they're not just like some ethereal, they're not just shadows floating around, specters, fog, that they're physical. Like, they're as real as the arm of your chair. People are subject to the supernatural, so they do things that are not natural, like kill themselves. That's why we're the only species that kills itself. Please. Right? So when you kill yourself, whether slowly or all at once, That's right. They're being acted on by forces outside of you.
That is the
Spiritual
password,
forces, obviously.
for admittance.
Just trying to apply logic here.
But may I ask, what is the password?
Man, the eyes wide shut clip is too loud.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I mean, so I agree and disagree with Tucker here. Obviously, the supernatural is real because the government has been very invested in stuff like remote viewing and psychics and stuff like that. I mean, so obviously there's some merit there.
Right,
What
exactly.
what he said at the end about people killing themselves is because of the supernatural. Yeah, no, I think some people are just so miserable they'd rather be dead than alive. But that's neither here nor there. I think the supernatural is real. I don't think we as humans in our current state have a super tight grasp on it. I think some people probably do. I think ancient humans, we've talked about this before, had more of a supernatural element in their lives than we do now.
Yeah. I think because they had lots of rituals and they did psychedelics as well, as a community. So or at least they had shamans in a community that would be in touch with other intelligences. Yeah.
We as humans now, we are too reliant on technology and weird stuff, but there's still some things there, like, okay, for instance, a really good example that I have is the alarm clock. A lot of people, including, I think you've told me, and I know I can do it, where when I'm going to bed at night, I go, man, I got to wake up at 6 o'clock tomorrow. And your brain will wake you up at 5 minutes before 6, and you don't even need the alarm clock.
Exactly.
And I think people just innately had that, but then we as humanity, start relying on, okay, well, now I've got a clock here. I don't have to worry about telling my brain to wake up at 6 o'clock. I can just set this clock here. And it's the same thing with, like, everyone talks about a gut feeling. Me personally, I think that's low level, psychicness, where you go, I got a bad feeling about this. I think that's ancient humanity in the genetics kind of poking through. I think that used to just kind of be like a normal thing for people.
I think we're definitely more psychic too, right?
Yeah, and then once technology was introduced to our society, and once we became more reliant on it, that kind of psychic ability goes away. But it still peeks its way through every once in a while, and I kind of think, but I think that's related to the supernatural, where I don't even know how to explain it. Like, forget it. I think it's all tied into the same thing. Is all I'm trying to say.
No, it definitely is, and we were even though we're in this technological world now, it still tries to peek itself into maybe try to connect to us again. Like, we know what happened to the connection. They're probably trying to figure out, or maybe it's on purpose. It's just hard to know all this stuff,
Well, and that's kind of the whole point of society, right? Like, all of this stuff has been hidden from us. We talk about it at length on this show about how the elites are in control and they don't want us to know certain things, whether it's aliens or the supernatural or whatever. They have the secret. I mean, that's why they're out worshiping a fucking owl thing out where Alex Jones saw them. I mean, like, they know something,
Yeah, they do.
And they don't want
they're
us
obsessed
to
with the
know.
ritual.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it's like they want to keep that power and that relationship, just not the rest of humanity.
And they do have, and the rich and elite do have all of these rituals. I mean, there's the thing like where they simulate killing someone and drinking their blood. I mean, that's a real thing that they do. And everyone just kind of looks past it. They go, oh, it's just the rich and elite being weird.
Too
But
disturbing.
no, it's them. They know the supernatural is real. They're doing the rituals that they won't allow us to do.
Yeah, and maybe this whole object coming to Earth is like a ritual. It seems very ritualistic what's going on. I don't know. I hope it doesn't end up like that, but maybe they have no choice. If the system is like coming to an end and they need a reset, and COVID didn't work,
like I said earlier, I think if everything was coming to an end, we'd be hearing about CEOs retiring and
Oh no,
going
I
to
know,
New
not
Zealand.
immediate, but I mean, the next couple of years. Because when COVID happened, they did it just a couple months before it happened, when it was imminent.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not imminent now. I mean, who knows what's going on now? This is Chris Bledsoe confirms via Grant Cameron that there will be a gathering at the Sphinx on Easter of 2026 when quote, humanity will experience a profound shift in knowledge.
Here we go again.
You want to go to
related
Egypt?
sort of method.
I do.
All right.
I really do. I would. I'll start saving up. I would love to do this. I think
All
this
right.
would be great for the podcast.
I think we can
And
buy tickets too from Grant.
go to Egypt.
All right, let's listen.
In a related sort of message, this just happened. Everybody probably has heard the rumored story about 2027, 2026. The 2026 is based upon best-selling author Chris Bledsoe and his message from the lady, and that event is supposed to take place on Easter of 2026. And I contacted Chris last night and I said, Chris, are you going to be at the pyramid and at the Sphinx on the 26th, just before sunrise? He said, yes, I'll be there. I said, well, I'll talk to Desta. We may join you. So anybody who's interested in going to see this event, if anything happens there, Easter of, I think it's April 5th in Egypt, let me know. Desta's a tour guide. She'll set up all this kind of stuff. And it's like you buy the lottery ticket. You're probably not going to win, but maybe something will happen. And it's an interesting place to see. So in related.
Interesting. See, we can buy tickets.
Yeah, I would love that, man. I want to travel more. I mean, I know the pyramids are essentially, it's tourist bait at this point, but I still want to see them.
Yeah, no, they're still really cool to see. And
Have you been?
If we're going with a group, yeah, I've been a couple of times.
No shit.
Yeah, I didn't take tours or anything, but we went ourselves and even into the pyramid and up to the King's Chamber. And we saw the King's Chamber. Yeah. I did, and I did the museum, and that was a tour, or someone we found that took us on a tour. But that was, dude, the museum is something else. It's just like how these things are huge granite blocks cut perfectly. I mean, it just looked like an advanced civilization,
Yeah, I mean,
it just looks like it.
I've watched so many, videos, on YouTube of people who are at the pyramids and stuff. I've even seen people who are illegally climbing it and things like that.
Nice.
And I'm always amazed. I would love to see it in person. The Sphinx is always a really cool thing. That's older than the pyramids.
Exactly.
And there's probably something underneath it and all this other stuff, man. It's
very cool. Yeah, I'd love to go with this different with all this knowledge, especially now with like knowing what's underneath the pyramids, which they're probably not going to address.
No, of course not. No, that's the whole thing. I think that the Egyptian government has shut down. I think I saw that on the Y-Files. The Egyptian government has shut down any study of what's going on underneath the pyramid.
So stupid. So here's from Daily Mail.
Ex-NASA engineer claims trillions of shape-shifting cloaked devices are hidden across Earth.
Yeah. We have a clip of him also talking about it.
Richard Bandurek?
Yeah.
CEO of Field Propulsion Technologies and a former propulsion engineer for NASA and Lockheed Martin, shared the shocking allegations. Basically, they're reversing alien technology. Can you scroll up? I want to read that. That first paragraph always contains the most sensational claim. So that humans are not only reverse engineering alien technology, but that trillions of invisible and extraterrestrial devices may already be hidden across the planet. Wowza.
Nuts, dude. That is just nuts.
Well, it's not all that surprising. I mean, when you talk, when you listen to people who have seen UFOs, interacted supposedly with aliens, I mean, all this stuff is it's very common, very commonplace. He claimed that many of these mysterious objects were not simply crash debris, but part of what he suspects is a vast invisible sensor network scattered around the world. Very similar to our very first thing that we talked about, that
the grid.
The grid, yeah.
Yeah.
The engineer admitted he didn't know who had planted the devices, but said they were unlike anything ever seen, not just decades ahead of current technology, but hundreds of years beyond it.
Whoa.
He described one such device as a sliver of metal that could reconfigure and camouflage itself depending on its surroundings. It would cloak, this is in quotes, it would cloak itself and try to blend into the environment, he said. That's how we could tell it was extraterrestrial.
What?
Despite the bold claims, Ben Durek offered no physical evidence to support them. Yeah, shocker there.
Yeah. He says like you can't collect it.
Right. Well, I mean, when we think about clear back to Roswell, I don't remember any of their names, but they were talking about they had part of the craft's outer hull, and they would crumple it up and throw it at, put it down, and it would re-flatten itself.
Right, exactly.
He says they have all sorts of functions. This really implies that maybe this group is actually manipulating our species. Also, something we talk about on the show all the time. These guys are way behind us. If you want the cutting edge theories about UFOs and aliens, you come to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We'll tell you what's up. We'll tell you what's up before the Daily Mail does.
Yeah, maybe this guy was listening to the show. He's like, I'm going to blow the whistle.
He added that it was still possible to acquire these cloaked devices scattered around the world, but his access had been cut off by the groups he was working with after he chose to go public with what he knew in 2024.
Okay, we have that. That's the clip then we have. Okay.
He had been recruited by the DOD and the Air Force. He says these technologies weren't being used by the U.S. government. I don't buy that for a second. Instead, it was NGOs, non-governmental organizations that were studying most of the recovered technology.
Okay.
Some of the work I was doing with the NGOs was really exciting, but one of the other things that comes out of this that these individuals or whoever this group is has this advanced technology probably does not want us reverse engineering what they're working on.
Yeah, no shit.
To stop other groups or governments from utilizing these materials, scientists discovered that the unknown materials could break apart into tiny pieces that couldn't be reactivated.
What? Yeah, I mean, we would do that, right?
God,
if you're not authorized.
Imagine being the CEO of Lockheed Martin and your engineers come up to you like, "Sir, we have the spacecraft that the U.S. government gave us," and you're the CEO, and you go, "Oh, I don't want China getting this. Break it up into little pieces, I guess." What the hell, man? They were smart materials. You'd be looking at them trying to reverse engineer them, and they would turn to dust.
Whoa! So like they recognize your intention.
Yeah. They would do it within a minute or two. Then you could take the dust off, send it off, and get isotropic analysis done on it. And it turned out they were extraterrestrial. This is from a whistleblower. According to Ben Durek, NGO scientists continue to run into these problems, suggesting that the technology was carefully constructed so that no one would be able to duplicate what they found. Huh.
Damn.
Ooh, interesting. Along with being able to self-destruct, scientists examining these materials also found that they could bend light around them, projecting the image of whatever was behind the extraterrestrial material in front, so no one could ever see what was there. So this is technology that the U.S. does have. In fact, I've seen YouTubers.
The bending of light?
Yeah. Very interesting stuff.
With cloaks, right? Like just just put a cloak around, and then all of a sudden it just bends the light, so it looks like no one is there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and this is stuff that the public is aware of.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Hypothetically,
it's out there.
It's out there. Yeah, we'll say that. Let me see. Along with these objects scattered around the world, the former government engineer revealed that the U.S. was aware of giant triangle-shaped craft that could use this cloaking technology as well, which we've discussed at length.
Right.
Triangles are not ours.
Damn.
Yeah.
You want to hear his clip here?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about this clip.
He's a short clip. He went on a podcast. I think it was last year.
they were smart materials. Like one of the things is when these materials, you'd be looking at them and you try and reverse engineer them, that they would turn to dust. And then and they would do it within a minute or two. And then so you could take the dust and then set it off and get the isotopic analysis done on them. And they were extraterrestrial. But these materials, I mean, we're looking at something that's hundreds of years ahead of us. When you look under a microscope or an electron microscope, you're looking at something that's composed of very small particles that seem to be communicating with one another. So those are the things that I've been involved in that we can talk about. But, I think that's one of the reasons why extraterrestrial materials are not really available to most people, is because most of them are set to disintegrate if they get in the wrong hand. Isotopic analysis of the dust that's left behind tells you it's extraterrestrial, at least where it was manufactured. But so we're looking at materials that can reconfigure themselves. So they are composed of small subunits. So the type of things I looked at were something as small as a sliver of metal. The head would reconfigure itself depending on where it was. It would cloak itself and it would try to blend into the environment. So the ones that this one NGO used to get a hold of were the ones that were technically broken. I guess the ones that didn't really function very well. So then you could collect them every once in a while and then try to analyze them. You could do things like split them apart. They would attempt to find each other or reconfigure. Some of the experiments they did was we took one of those and we put it on a very hot surface of about 3,000 degrees. And what it would do is it cooled the surface around itself. And then when we took the device off and then waited again, we would find that the mass would be reduced by a certain amount.
Do these feel like programmed materials to you, Richard?
Yeah, they were, like I was saying, they're more intelligent materials. Like these subunits probably had computational functionality, right? Because they knew what their neighbors were all about, and they knew they could reprogram themselves to be something different, right? If they needed to change themselves. So these are really curious types of materials. So that's how we could kind of tell they were extraterrestrial, because these things weren't like decades ahead of us. They were probably hundreds of years ahead of us.
Yeah. So that is that whistleblower, Richard Banderick, Lockheed Martin, NASA, ULA, and DARPA. So crazy stuff, dude.
Very crazy. I keep in my head, I've talked about how I mostly believe that aliens are interdimensional, as in they're coming from this other realm, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's hard to it's hard to combine that with a story like this where they're talking about materials that disintegrate once maybe it doesn't, I don't know. So my point is, if something is coming here from another dimension, in my mind that would mean that whatever material they're using is something that the human brain could not comprehend, right? It wouldn't be something that we could break down with a microscope and go, oh, okay, here are the atoms, here are this and that. It would be something that's just so, maybe I'm getting too HP Lovecraft about this, but it would be something so different, it would kind of break our reality. But if it is truly something that it is a material we can understand, and we're able to study it, then maybe they are just from a different planet in our universe.
Right. Yes, exactly. That is a great point. Exactly. So they're scared of also intelligent beings like us who are able to dissect something, study it, and reverse engineer it. So they have that in mind when creating these things. So they don't want us to reverse engineer.
And I think, an interdimensional being that wouldn't even be concerned. It wouldn't even be a thought in their head. I mean, again, I'm approaching this, of course, from a human perspective, but I don't know.
The guy worked for DARPA too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that they're introducing this to NGOs so that they can put it into our defense industry, because that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean,
if someone shoots down something that's ours, right? Wouldn't it be great for it to disintegrate so that it can't reverse engineer it?
And it's what the hell is it called? The government gives it to an NGO, so they can't be held accountable for whatever happens.
Right.
Exactly. Plausible deniability.
Yep, and they're seeding technology. They're seeding technology into industry to see how far we can go with it.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you believe all of the conspiracy theories, I mean, that's where Wi-Fi came from.
Yeah.
It came from aliens.
Yep, and night vision as well,
Yes.
lasers.
Yep.
So this also happened last week, from Mark Van Rennenkampf. Schumer introduces stunning legislation. UAPDA, which is the UAP Disclosure Act, alleges that a legacy program retrieved UFOs and biological evidence of non-human intelligence. Representative Burleson intends to introduce in the House. Republican Representative Turner, who reportedly blocked the UAPDA in 2023, no longer HPSCI chair.
Hipska.
Hipsky. So hopefully it passes, man. Hopefully. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath either. I've made the joke already this podcast. I'll make it again. I made it again last episode. What will release first, the Epstein files or the alien files? And the answer is none of them.
None. Exactly. Dean
Nothing
Johnson.
ever happens. But I mean, it's in the mainstream. At least people are aware of this.
Yeah, exactly. It's so mainstream. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, I'm not sure I'm going to believe the government about this.
It is really funny. I'm looking at this picture of this guy and I'm thinking of my dad's a Vietnam vet. And I'm thinking of all of these old school, baby boomers. And I'm just going like, what could they, they're like, I had to fight for my life. And now we're talking about UFOs and aliens. that thought makes me laugh. Maybe it's not something to laugh at, but it does make me laugh.
Yeah. And this is Corso, by the way.
Philip J. Corso, author of the book The Day After Roswell, Wikipedia page has been removed in case you had any more reason to hate Wikipedia.
Yeah, and all AI is trained on Wikipedia. And is that why they're removing all these things? I mean,
fuck Wikipedia.
I know. What a terrible organization. Seriously.
I remember learning about the why am I blanking on the name? There was a case that went to, I don't think it was a Supreme Court, but it was about essentially it was Epstein before Epstein. It was about children who had been
yeah. The one in DC.
Yes.
That one.
And
I forget the name too.
Wikipedia, the article was like 2 sentences long and it said it was a conspiracy theory. And I just was like, I remember reading that and being like, conspiracy theory? Like that was one of my awakening moments. And I was just like, this whole system.
Yeah.
And I remember being so angry about it and I was in college and I remember telling my roommates and they're like, why are you so upset about this? I'm like, how are you not upset about this? Like I was freaking out.
Yeah,
Like,
even the Aztec crash is said as a hoax. That is not a hoax.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But yeah, Wikipedia sucks, dude. And
yeah, it really does.
All these pages are gone. Like Harold Malmgren's Wikipedia page is gone.
If you, there was either an article or a YouTube video, I can't remember, but it showed the people who the main quote unquote editors behind Wikipedia, and it's exactly who you'd expect.
Right. And for the UFO thing, it's Mick West and his friends that they uncovered.
Yeah.
What else do we have here? Oh, so this is Robert Malone. If you know who he is, he's one of the inventors of the mRNA shot.
Yeah, he was big during when COVID was happening.
Yes.
He was one of the big names that came out essentially against it.
Right. And Joe Rogan, he had him on his show, and that started the media backlash against Rogan. And so that's who Malone is. But here he talks about RFK Jr. being briefed by the government about UFOs.
Sweet.
Which it's cool to see from Robert Malone.
It was just a random pull, but
I know.
How fun.
Yeah.
The other day I had 2 FBI agents come to the farm.
Oh yeah.
To interview me about what I'd experienced during the censorship and defamation and all that during COVID.
That's why.
Because they were launching an investigation about the people that were doing this kind of stuff, including within the federal government.
Wow.
And as they were going out the door, we had our the woman Justine, that is our kind of our special person within Malone.news that focuses on UAPs. And so she was there, and she just couldn't help herself. She asked, do you know anything about the UAPs? And one of them piped up and said, in the investigation, she said, well, I can't talk about it because I'm actively involved in supporting those investigations, but I can tell you that a lot more activity is happening now.
Oh God.
That's data point number one, and that they're real. Okay. Data point number two, I'm talking to my friend and mentioned this while we were on the boat, and he says, oh, Bobby had a briefing, and all this stuff is true. Roswell, all those things, the reverse engineering, the origin of the night vision, a whole bunch of this tech comes out of reverse engineering recovered material. And so stay tuned on that. It sounds like there is absolutely there. And we can look forward to, as you're talking about the future, we can look forward to learning a lot more about what the heck is going on with these, whether they're time travelers and they're humans coming back, or they're from another dimension, or they're whatever, fill in the blank. But apparently it's real.
I'm such a UFO head.
So that's cool. I mean, we know RFK Jr. is a huge proponent of this, and let's talk about disclosure on the campaign trail.
That
but
is cool.
Yeah, but he's just crazy about Israel. So maybe that's why he's been brought into it. I don't know. I'm being very careful about this whole disclosure thing from these guys, and this narrative being woven in.
I swear to God, man, if this what are they calling it? Meteor,
whatever it is.
asteroid.
Yeah.
If it lands in Israel and starts only taking the Jews, I don't know. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Or at least confirm, yes, they are chosen. Here is the Messiah. Here is the Messiah to the world.
Really?
Build the third temple. I'm like, oh,
this
God.
is who you chose. I guess I'll go fuck myself then.
Oh, what if it lands on the Dome of the Rock and destroys it? Oh, that'd be like an event like 9/11. You know what I mean? Where it's big enough like that, and then this clown world Messiah comes out.
Man, again, I know we have that full episode. I know I've made this joke before, but if the UFO lands and a bunch of just clowns like Ronald McDonald comes out, I think that would be the funniest fucking thing that ever happened.
Honk honk.
What are you humans doing?
How funny would that be? I mean, good Lord, I'd be like, all right, everything is a joke. This is great.
Right.
This is exactly what I was looking for.
Much better than being so serious.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you have nuclear weapons.
It's crazy how it's all melding together, right? All these narratives.
Yes, it is.
That came out. Very interesting. So yeah, we're gonna keep an eye out. Everyone keep an eye out too, as well. You have been informed of what might be going on here.
Well, now I want to take a break. Let's do that. I was gonna say professional podcast, and then I realized we've never been paid.
Right.
We are podcasters, and you had something happen to you recently.
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. I did.
And I feel like we should at least address it. I meant to bring it up earlier, but we were in a good flow, and I wanted to. But now I'm trying to break up the flow because that's what a good podcast is about.
Correct. Yeah. So I saw a Tic Tac. It was on Thursday. I was outside on the balcony, and it was a clear blue sky, just beautiful. And I was like, man, and I started like putting it out there. I'm like, I would love to see, show me you guys are out there. Show me you guys are up there. That kind of language, right?
Yeah.
And even got really, really personal. But then I think I forgot about it. Because then I got up and I was looking around the garden, and then I happened to look straight up, and then I just see this perfect caps, like a tic tac. It looks like a perfect white capsule just go by. No noise, no nothing. Just I just see it go by, and it wasn't a bird. It wasn't a balloon. It was a perfect capsule. I can't explain it anymore, and then I'm like, what the? And I was going to go out to the front door so I can continue catching it. And I don't know why I didn't. I was like, I'm just going to leave it. And I didn't tell anyone for about a day. And then I told you. But I did put it out there. And it's interesting to note, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know if it's important, but I started saying, well, what do I pray to here? I started naming off names. I even mentioned Yahweh because I remembered that there was this one guy in Nevada or maybe LA, and he would pray to Yahweh and these things would show up. It's on video. And
I remember that.
I don't want to connect that, but I'm putting it out there that I did mention it internally. So
was it, how fast was it going? Was it like zoom, or was it just kind of like zzz?
Yeah, it was like like that. If it made noise, it'd be like that. And I would say it was about 300 feet above me. Maybe okay, between 100 to 300. No, 100 is how much? No, yeah, 200 to 300 feet above me, and I didn't see it coming from anywhere. So my balcony looks south, right, which is where like the Nimitz was seen, basically, that area. So it came from that area, but I never saw anything coming. All I did was look up, and it just passed.
Did you have a so when I saw UFO, I had a feeling to look up. Did you have?
It must have been. Like, why did I look up at that phase? But maybe because I was also looking around because I was asking for it. But yeah, why exactly right above me too?
And did you have any, like, as it passed overhead, or even before and after? Like, did you have, like, what were your strongest feelings that you were feeling, or was it just kind of like, this is a day, this is happening, or like, did you have any, did you have a feeling of like wonder or anything weird?
I mean, the weird thing was just the whole no sound thing. That was it, and just how smooth and capsule like it was. I've never seen anything like it. Man. It's like a cartoon. Do you know what I mean? Where that's how ridiculous it looked.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the word tic tac is just perfect. But now I don't think it was 30 feet.
You don't think so?
Well, if it was at 200, 300 feet, yeah, it could have been actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. Yeah. Did you have anything weird happen to you before or after that day?
I don't think nothing that stands out. It was literally like, I'm gonna go out just to take a break from work, and it was just a beautiful day, so I really wanted to see one. And then it happened when I wasn't expecting it. So it's not like it happened when I asked for it. It was, I would say, maybe 5 minutes after, where I kind of forgot about it.
Was there anything was there anything weird like on the tic tac? Like, could you identify any weird markings or anything like that?
No markings. The only weird thing is that the sides of it or the edges of it seemed distorted.
Well, that is really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that's the propulsion system,
right? That's what wasn't making any noise. It was just going through our atmosphere. And it was a perfect day. Perfect. No chemtrails, nothing. Not one cloud in the sky.
Did you talk to any neighbors or anyone in your family who might have also seen it?
I have not mentioned it. No. Oh no, I mentioned it to my family the day after. I'm like, oh, by the way, guys, I saw tic tac yesterday.
I still remember at your mom's house when we saw that. That was really funny. I remember
over 45 minutes.
Your daughter was really young at the time, and we were pointing it out, and we had the binoculars, and she was just pointing to random.
Where? Yeah. She's still not good at when you point something out, like where you're pointing.
So you mentioned the garden. Have you? This is a really bizarre out there question, but I'm just kind of looking for information.
Have I seen other things? Yeah, I have.
Well, no. Have you eaten anything in the garden
Oh,
since then? Since that thing
hey, that's a
flew
good
overhead?
question. My wife takes from there all the time, so I don't know. Maybe she's used something recently. Interesting. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know the answer to that, but most likely. But we have tomatoes now growing great, green peppers, strawberries, but I've not eaten anything from there yet.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah. So yeah, but I've seen other stuff from this. The balcony is nice. We have a very nice view of south side.
You know, where we live, there's honestly a really weird amount of activity.
Mhm.
There's I always see it on the subreddits, you know, where
Yeah,
people go,
ton.
"Oh, this happened," you know, and I go, "Wow, that's really close to me."
Yeah, exactly. And it's dude, there's definitely a base out there in the
Oh
ocean.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we've talked about where we live.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
San Clemente Island is a you know, it's a military training base, and
Right.
people see stuff over there all the time.
Yeah, and on a clear day, we can see both San Clemente Islands and Catalina.
Catalina, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably I was just gonna say it's probably not even a training base. It's probably a UFO base that the U.S. government is they're trying to kill the
Exactly. Break through and control it.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I can't believe we're at over 2 hours.
Yeah. But you know, I think that was a good side
A
route.
good update, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll still put these links in the show. This
Yeah,
one,
absolutely.
This one here talks about a Mexican event. Do you want to go? Did you listen to this one? I'm sure. Yeah, I sent
No,
it to
actually,
you.
I just read the tweet, and I actually do want to watch this video.
Okay, yeah. All right, it's really good. It's a great story, and this guy tells it really well.
Of 1976, there's this 23-year-old kid named Rafael Perez, and he's training to be a pilot. And he flies his training missions, if you will. He's a civilian. So he flies his training flights out of this airport in Chimalacán, Mexico. It's about 3 hours inland from Acapulco. And this kid, he's flown many times, but always with another pilot. So he's learning how to fly a small plane like a Cessna. And on this day in June, he's going to fly on his own for the first time. The flight profile is very simple. You're going to take off like you always have, fly in a loop, come back and land. Nothing more to it. You're basically demonstrating you can do it without panicking on your own.
Yeah.
Right? And keep in mind, in 1976, the controls, the instruments inside of the aircrafts were pretty rudimentary. Like they didn't have GPS systems. It was sort of like you had like your compass and you had your altimeter. But honestly, a lot of flying was literally dead reckoning, like looking out the window and just seeing where you were. Right. So he takes off at 9:15 a.m. It's June 23rd of 1976. He takes off. And right away, he notices that it's very foggy, and this is something he knew on the ground, but from a dead reckoning perspective, looking out the window, he's got limited access to reference points on the ground. So he really has not really a good sense of where he is. He's using his instruments and he's sort of guessing when he's supposed to make this turn to bank around, to come in and land. But on his approach back to the airport, he's successfully done this flight. He can't quite find the airport. Like he's struggling to see it. But at a certain point, based on his instruments, he realizes he's off course, he's lost. And so he tries calling in with a radio back to the control tower to be like, I'm lost, like I'm letting you know, it's going to take me a minute. He doesn't really hear back from them. It's sort of garbled static. And then he realizes, oh, I need to fly back left. I need to go left. So he takes the yoke, the steering wheel, and he tries to bank the airplane left. But the airplane doesn't go left. It just continues flying level at 7,000 feet in a straight line. And he's thinking, okay, there's clearly some sort of issue here. It's okay. He's not panicking. He hops on the radio and he says, hey, I'm having some issues. I can't go left. He tried going right. Nothing's affecting the plane. It's flying straight at 7,000 feet. He hops on the radio. He starts talking like, what do I do here? I can't do anything to my plane. And as he's trying to get a hold of anybody who's not getting back in touch with him, but we have his voice being recorded into this radio, the plane actually begins to climb. And he's not pulling back on the yoke. He's not making the plane climb. The plane is climbing on its own. And so it begins to climb, and the way the fog and mist is there was like this big, like huge cloud that he was basically flying into. So he's ascending up to like 8, 9, 10,000 feet. He can't go left, can't go right. He's just going straight up into this cloud. And so he can't see anything. He's like in a void. He's totally panicked now. He can't get a hold of anybody on the radio. About the time he's totally obscured in the clouds, he feels this overwhelming tiredness come over him. and he passes out, just passes out in the cockpit. He wakes up in the cockpit, has no idea how long he's been asleep for. Could have been a second, could have been days, but he's immediately shocked that, holy cow, I did not crash the plane. Like, I know I just fell asleep in the plane. But a couple things immediately become clear to him. First of all, his plane's still flying. He's still in the air. He's still coasting along, right? But he's back down to 7,000 feet. He was climbing before, now he's back down to 7,000 feet. He also looks out the window and there's no more mist or fog or anything like that. It's actually just the open ocean underneath him. And immediately he thinks to himself, I took off from this airport that's 3 hours inland from the coast. If I went in a straight line, and he looks at his clock and it says 11:30. Took off at 9:15, 10:15, 11:15. So 2 hours and 15 minutes from the time he took off. I'm doing the math right. It's below 3 hours. What body of water am I over? The amount of time that has transpired that apparently I was asleep for is not enough time for me to arrive over any body of water. That flashes through his mind. In addition to that, he looks at his gas gauge and it's at 3/4 tank. And he knew that not only is that way too high, but he wouldn't have had, even if he had 3 hours, he wouldn't have had enough gas to reach any water body. So wouldn't have had enough gas, but have 3/4 tank of gas. Also, again, how did I get here? I have no idea how I got here. Has no idea where he is. And as he's like coming to like, what's happening here? Somebody chimes in over the radio and goes, hey, are you there? And he grabs this radio and he's totally frantic. He's like, hey, I fell asleep in my plane. I don't know where I am. And there's a pause. And this is all recorded. There's a pause. And the guy on the other end, he introduces himself sort of cautiously. He's like, hey, this is Carlos. Are you alone in your airplane?
Oh, wait, there's part two. 1 second.
I was going to say that's a cliffhanger. I want to hear the second part.
The action is just sort of, okay, are you alone in your airplane? And Raphael is like, of course I'm alone. Like, where am I? What? I think I fell asleep. I don't know what's going on. And Carlos's reaction is just sort of, okay, well, listen, here's what we're going to do. You're just off the coast of Acapulco. And for the last hour, you've been flying out over the water. You just kind of showed up, right? And by the way, going back to the timeline, he arrived off the coast of Acapulco now an hour earlier. That was 10:30 in the morning, took off at 9:15. Takes 3 hours to get there. He apparently did it in about an hour and 15 minutes. So he's circling over the water. And Carlos is like, hey, just come into the airport where I am. I'm gonna get you in there. You're gonna land and we'll talk to you then. And so Raphael is just happy to be alive at this point. He comes in, he lands at the airport in Acapulco. And as soon as he gets off, there's these people in suits that are there to meet him. And they immediately take him, they detain him, put him in like a black car. He's asking what's going on. Nobody knows, or they don't tell him. And they drive him to a hospital. And he's the whole time saying, I'm so sorry about the craft. Please tell like where I flew out of that I'm sorry about the craft. I hope it's not damaged. They bring him to the hospital. They drug test him right away. He's not on drugs, he's sober. And they also have a psychologist come in and they give him a profile, make sure he's sane, and she determines that he is. And so the whole time, Raphael has no idea what's happening. He doesn't know what they're doing. He doesn't understand any of this. And so finally they say, okay, we're gonna tell you what happened. So when you showed up off the coast of Acapulco at about 10:30 in the morning, which no one understands how you got there, it's not possible. You showed up on the radar screen of who you were talking to, Carlos, the air traffic control guy. And he talked to you for an hour while you were out over the water. That whole time you were circling, you were talking to him and it was recorded. And I'm gonna read to you the first thing that Raphael said to Carlos. And you're gonna see in a minute why Carlos's first question when Raphael came to was, is there somebody else in the plane? He said in a very deep, almost robotic voice, when Carlos saw this blip on his radar at 10:30, he said, hey, who is this? You're flying over Acapulco's coast. What's going on here? The voice came back and said, the pilot is speaking, but not of his own free will. We are using him as a microphone. Your equipment is too primitive. It is not important who we are or where we come from, only that we are inhabitants of the same universe. For the next 30 to 45 minutes, the voice being projected through Raphael talked about humanity is the only intelligent species in the entire universe that uses warfare and conducts violence on each other, and you are poised for a nuclear holocaust, and you may be exterminated if this continues. And then at about 11:30, Raphael wakes up, and his voice changed completely. And he's like, oh, what's going on? I think I fell asleep at the wheel. And that's why Carlos is like, wait a minute, I've been talking to you for an hour. He's like, there's somebody else in the craft with you, right? No one has any idea how Raphael wound up over the coast. They examined his plane, nothing wrong with his plane. It really was 3/4 tanks of gas. Didn't make sense how it got there. Nobody knows. Raphael has no idea how he got there. And the Mexican government quickly took this story, buried it, and now you can only access it in this obscure library in Mexico.
That's a great story.
Good God.
So we're the only species in the universe that uses violence against it. Well, and that goes back to our thing of maybe that's why these psychopaths are imprisoned here. You know?
Yeah. So I'm assuming this is another quote from the archives.
Yeah.
He, Raphael, speaks because he is ordered to. That is, should I do it in the voice?
Yeah.
It is his voice. He speaks, but not of his own free
Whoa.
will.
That's
We
a good
use
one.
it as a microphone. No matter who we are or where we come from, it is enough for you to know that we are beings of this universe where
Okay.
you belong. Our planet is many light years away, but we are physically equal. I repeat that all races in the universe are physically equal. You are not alone in the universe, and there are other races that are far away from you, and we are watching you.
This whole thing of equal. I mean, we do have a supremacy problem.
Very, very interesting. I mean, so as you and all of our listeners know, I'm a huge media person. Like, as in, I like to watch movies and TV shows and stuff. And aliens are pretty much always depicted the same way. They're humanoid, as in 2 legs, 2 arms, just with a different skin color, usually big eyes. But it's the same thing. Like when we talk about the Greys or we talk about the Nordics, even the like reptilians and the insectoids,
Yep.
the praying mantis people. It's pretty much the same thing. It's 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head.
Yeah.
So I would call that physically similar.
Yes. And it's
Yeah,
probably, yeah.
That's a that's a really good tweet. Why is Tom Segura involved at all? I'm curious as well. He's a comedian. I've watched a lot of his content on YouTube.
Comedians love the UFO subject.
Yeah, he's a decently funny guy, but I was really curious as to why he was there, and he only had 1 line in that entire 2-part video we just watched.
Right. Yeah, fascinating story. Tom and his wife are both interested in paranormal and UFO stories, so Mr. Ballin told him an alien story.
Oh,
cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a cool case.
It really is. I have never heard of that, and
Me neither.
it would be interesting if we could find some articles on that, possibly do a deep dive.
Okay.
I don't know if there's enough information. It sounds like there's not.
Yeah, he was saying for context in the beginning where there's not enough information, so they had to go to the library that's in Mexico to get the information.
Road trip.
Yeah, Mexico's close by.
Yeah.
Let's talk about UAPs.
So what do you have here?
This skywatcher.
Leaked. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, they leaked some. Well, this guy goes through like the leaks.
Last one, Tetris.
Pretty dramatic.
What is the difference between a whistleblower and a leaker?
A whistleblower intends to expose illegal or unethical acts for public interest, often seeking accountability or reform. A leaker intends to disclose sensitive information, typically for personal gain, political motives, or to cause disruption, without prioritizing public good.
And with that, I do want to recognize that we're working with leaked data here, but it's out now, so we're going to talk about it. And what we're going to notice right out of the gate is the level of detail in this clip here specifically. This is infrared, so we're recording thermal. And to top it off, there was radar released alongside the videos. And we can see the radar track right here. This is at about 4,600 to 700 feet off the ground. And the line that you saw was basically all of the radar returns. And how do we know these aren't birds? Well, we can compare to other recordings using thermal. On the far right is an airplane, but you can see very clearly there's a shape of a bird. You see the wings. In the movement, when they're in flight, you see actual wings flapping. So the objects that we're looking at are very static and their shape is unchanging. Now, there are multiple different examples of this class in flight, captured in thermal and in optical. All of the thermal shows a very statically shaped object, right? It's a circle. And here we have a grouping that I captured over my backyard. And I put trails on it so we could see that they're not just, satellites flying through the air. This is thermal and is shortwave infrared. Now moving on to the optical, so EO, the characteristics are different now. So we can see that they flicker. And this is one of the characteristics that I believe is interesting and also will help us understand how these things fly, potentially. Now, what I'm starting to see as a pattern is it appears that the light is consistent with the amount of effort the objects are putting out, meaning when they turn, the light is on longer. And when they speed up or slow down, the light also is on longer. Here's just another set, another example. You can see they have like a playfulness about them, the way they move as well. And you can see they're interacting with each other. It's, like I said, it's almost playful. All right, now here's the comparison between optical.
What I just thought of, they say there's the retrieved dust material that says that it communicates with each other, and it could be on a micro and macro scale. I mean, if it's recovered material from these crafts, so maybe they're made from that dust. That's why they act that way, because they're also acting like that, where they're communicating with each other and seeing how far away, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I think that's a really good point.
I mean, if you're going to design something from the ground up,
you would definitely want it to be able to communicate with it.
And that's how it seems like it's alive.
Right.
I mean, I could see us making stuff like that too. It's not like beyond. It might be hundreds of years. I don't know. But good video here. He goes through that. Basically, these are not birds. These are not planes. These are static objects. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not balloons. Mick West, that's right, didn't come out and say anything about the new paper about the astronomical plates. Nothing.
Oh.
Yeah. Just that he doesn't trust it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Funny how that works.
Other than that, I think that's it. There's a Virginia triangle and then some Epstein news, but that's about it.
Yeah, we don't have to go on the Epstein stuff. I feel like people know what's going on there. It looks like Ghislaine is either going to get killed or going to get off. She got moved to that prison in Texas.
Yep.
After meeting with Trump's lawyer.
I wouldn't be surprised if Trump pardons her.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. It's starting to look more and more like that's what's going to happen, which is just...
They always get away with it.
I always do, man.
Even something like this, kids.
Yeah.
And how worse can it get?
Yeah.
Nope. You're
yeah,
getting
shit.
off.
I mean, look at oh god, who was that Hollywood director that married his stepdaughter when she was 14?
Yeah.
Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got away with it. Now he lives in France, and Hollywood is still. Actually, you know what? You want to talk about a weird conspiracy? Do a quick Google search. Are we done?
Just this video, but pretty much, yeah, we're done.
Do you want to play this video before I move on to a weird topic that I'm?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hey, what is that, bro? Dude, I don't know about a cell phone tower, Mom. Mom, I don't think it's a cell phone tower, bro. Dude, I've never in my life seen anything do what it's doing. But you should come look at my phone. I can't stop this. I've never seen any cell phone tower do what this is doing. You sure, bro? That is a spaceship.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if it's moving, it's not a
Wait
cell
till you see
phone
this
tower.
shit.
All right, what'd you say?
I said if it's moving, it's not a cell phone tower.
Right.
Those cell phone towers are over there on that side, down that end.
I think his friend is just telling him,
those are
ignore
cell
it,
phone
man.
towers. What the fuck is that?
Maybe it's copying the cell phone tower.
Could be.
I've never seen anything like
What
that.
I'm finding really interesting is
That thing is like
maybe it's
scanning
just
us and uploading
the
us. It's
artifact from the footage, but there's something moving up the. Do you see that? It's moving
Yeah,
up the
yeah.
side and moving towards the front of the
Exactly.
craft.
Yeah, it's pushing like smoke and light.
Yeah,
Very
very
the
weird.
end, and then comes down to the other side.
Well, and again, another thing that we've talked about at length, the T3RB or whatever, or TR3B, whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
that
this,
definitely looks like a craft is there.
yeah.
Just cloaked. Weird. All right, yes. So where do you want to
Okay,
head?
really, really out there conspiracy. Go to Google and type in Jenna Ortega and like old versus new pictures. Like all of these actresses are doing this where they want to make themselves look like aliens.
Oh, really? Images General Ortega?
Jenna Ortega.
Oh, Jenna. Sorry.
That one
Jenna.
right there. I can't see where her
one?
mouse is. It's the third picture from the left.
Oh, this one. Whoever
That's what-
created who call fat removal should be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. What?
All of these actresses are doing this where it's called, is it, I don't even, buccal fat. They remove the fat out of their cheeks, but then they all
What?
look like fucking aliens, and I don't understand. Like she's the newest
Oh, I
one.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but all of them are doing this now, and I don't understand it.
I guess we're emulating our rulers,
overlords.
Our overlords, exactly. Oh yeah, look at this one here.
Yeah, that's what the hell? Why would
Ooh.
you do that to yourself?
Buccal fat. I guess she didn't like her cheeks,
But that's
which
so
makes you look
stupid.
younger. Very stupid.
She was a good-looking woman, and now she looks like an alien or a vampire or something. I don't. But
She
like
looks so different. Look at that.
She is far from the first person to do this, and I don't really understand it. This is going on all over Hollywood right now. This is like the new trend, and
so weird.
I mean, I know Hollywood
Always
is
something with
weird.
them. Yeah,
I know Hollywood is super weird, and I'm not ever gonna, defend these people. They're fucking morons, honestly. Hollywood is, but like, I don't understand the mental capacity you have to like do this to yourself. Like, just if you just Google like buccal fat, I don't even know how to pronounce buccal fat removal Hollywood. You'll probably see all of the different actresses who have done this.
Oh, she did it too.
Everyone, all of them do it. It makes no sense because it doesn't make
Ew.
them more attractive. It doesn't make them look younger. It makes them look like freaks.
Before even her, look how obvious it looks when you see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of them do it.
Yeah. Even some of the guys are doing it too, which is just weird.
Nassim Plastic Surgery. He's the one who's like Nassim Plastic Surgery. He's making bank.
Dude, I honestly I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand how any woman can look at all of these before and after photos and go, yeah, I want that. I want that.
No,
They look
dude, like some people get so obsessed with plastic surgery where they just can't
but
stop.
like it doesn't. Oh man, I'll never understand it. I will never understand it. It's the same thing with, like I've already told myself, like, hey, buddy, when you get older, you're just gonna get older. Like that's how it's gonna go. Like, just accept it.
Age gracefully.
Yeah, just like get older. You're not gonna when you're 50 or 60, you're not gonna fool anyone to think you're 20 years old.
But some guys believe so.
For whatever reason, these people, especially in Hollywood, they go, "Oh yeah, I definitely don't look like an alien. I look like I'm 20 years old." And they go, "What the hell are you smoking?"
Yeah, I mean, it could be just the fashion industry too. When you look at like fashion magazines, like the top models, they look like that without the removal. So maybe they just see all these models around them when they go out, and
I don't know,
they want to
man.
look like them because that's what models look like. Models look like aliens.
So I'm gonna put this out there into the universe. When we are fashion models and walking down the runway, I promise you and myself and everyone out there that I will never get plastic surgery.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. I won't get plastic surgery to make myself look better unless I have been in some sort of horrific accident that makes my face look just horrible to look at.
Fair enough. So
And
wait,
I already,
what? Yeah.
I already,
No, I was,
I already have like I've got at least one scar on my. It's not technically on my face; it's on my forehead, like up north. And I, like
right. So
I
you
think
could actually do some work on that if you want.
I'm not going to do any work on that. I
No,
think
but I'm
it adds
saying like
character.
that's not bad. Like I'm saying that's normal to say. I mean, these people are like taking off fat, like completely changing the structure of their face. I'm saying like trying to fix a scar is it's not like a crazy thing. That's my
Sure.
point, really. Yeah.
And I've got plenty of fat to remove, and I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to be an old fat man. Like I know what's going on. Like
An old fat man. Yeah, I mean, if that makes you happy or you're accepting of it, then that is the step right there that most people can't take.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't work in Hollywood. I never will. But I still don't understand. Like they're
They're just
becoming,
obsessed with their looks, man.
but
Because
they
it's their life.
become, in my opinion, they become less human. You want to hear another conspiracy theory that I have that I think is a little bit out there, but I still fully believe in it?
Hmm.
I think cameras steal souls, like parts of it. I think
Yeah.
the more you have your picture taken,
It's like a mirror.
the less soul you have. And I kind of came up with that as a joke, but then I started thinking about all these people who are obsessed. I almost said girls because it's mostly girls, let's be honest. People who are obsessed with Instagram and getting their photo taken by Hollywood. I truly think the more you have your picture taken, the less of your soul you have.
Yeah,
I know
it's like
that, and I know that's
it's like a
crazy.
mirror. But people said that in the past about mirrors that it can also, it had some magical thing about it. It was always eerie and evil and what's that sin? When people are always looking in mirrors, vanity, right? Isn't that
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
the same thing? It's that road you're going down,
Yeah.
where it's sinful, and so I think it can definitely apply to pictures and cameras. It's kind of the same thing.
But I mean, I look at these, these photos of, we just looked at Jenna Ortega, and she looks like some sort of weird vampire alien thing now. And who gets photographed and videographed more than anyone on earth? Hollywood actors and actresses.
Oh yeah, not
And
just by themselves and fans, but also by paparazzi and news and
yeah, and I
PR
think
agencies.
I think for whatever reason, I think whenever your your picture is taken, you lose part of your soul. And
Well, that's a
like
scary thought.
every time, like I said, like I thought of that kind of like as a joke, but the more I look into it, the more I'm like, holy shit, I think I was kind of right about this. Because
I mean, they definitely have a hole to fill. That's why they want all this attention, right? It's like
Yeah.
never enough. It's never enough. So there's already something there that they have wrong with them. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Well-
wait, what deep dive did we say? Well, next week we're off, but what did we talk about in the middle? I mean, at the beginning of the show. Do you remember?
Gulf Breeze.
Gulf Breeze. That's what we're doing. I'm writing it down. Okay, that'll be a fun one.
That's going to be a really fun episode.
All right, nice.
Well, we want to thank you all so much for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. This was a long one, despite us not doing a deep dive.
I know. We always seem to do it.
Yeah. Like I said, thank you all so much for listening. That is I Have a Need to Know Adam. Do you want to go through where people can find us? Or I feel like it's one of those things where
Whatever.
like if you're listening to us, you already know
Yeah.
how to find us.
Exactly. I think you just probably it's important to say that UAP podcasts, there's so many out there, so you're not going to find us. Use Uncovering Anomalies podcast. Maybe one day we'll show up for UAP podcast. I mean, the analytics shows me that there are some people searching for that and show up, not the majority. So yeah, I would say that. But yeah, you can find us anywhere and on all the video platforms in case we do get kicked off of YouTube. So check us out
And
there.
Best believe we will. Once you criticize a certain government, you tend to get kicked off of a lot of things for some crazy reason.
Yeah, exactly. They have no influence at all.
None.
But our X handles are right there under our names. I'm at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher at all. So follow us there. Hit us up. Let us know how you like the show. Anything you guys want us to cover, we'll be more than happy to do so.
Of course, that is, like I said, I have a need to know Adam. I am trying to Topher, and we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Yes, you tried well. Yes, see y'all in 2 weeks.
Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps. Day by day, night by night, where do I stand? Where do I fight? The conspiracy is taking me, and now I'm fighting relentlessly. What's the truth and what's the lie? Will we forever fight and die? We uncover truths and tell you what's the news, what they won't tell you. It's Adam and Topher. We come in peace. Our hunt for the truth will never cease. It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We tell you the UFO news at last. Forgive us for being brief, but the truth never sleeps.